Did you hear it or see it? A loud booming noise followed by a bright flash in the sky. So what was it? A reporter is finding out.
The community has been left reeling and families have been devastated by what is now one of the deadliest mass shootings in Canadian history.
An inquest is announced into the tragedy in Tumbler Ridge in a bid to stop something similar from happening again. And we'll tell you about a crafty new method crooks are using to break into homes. Well, good morning, everyone. It's Wednesday, March 4th. Welcome to Your Morning Vancouver. I'm Carrie Adams. So you may have heard it, seen it, or even felt it. A flash illuminating the night sky following a big boom. People all over the South Coast and even down in Washington State were jolted from it. Now everyone's asking, what exactly was that? Yasmin Gandam joins us now live from Abbotsford, where people reported the blast was the loudest. Good morning, Yasmin. And early indications suggest it was a meteor exploding. What can you tell us about that?
Good morning, Carrie. Definitely something pretty unusual here. It happened just after 9 p.m. last night. And as you mentioned, the boom could be heard in areas of Metro Vancouver and the Fraser Valley, particularly here in Abbotsford, where people on social media said they heard it the loudest. And now an earthquake seismologist with Natural Resources Canada says it was not a quake, but rather it was a meteor exploding in the atmosphere called a bolide. Take a listen. He notes light travels faster than sound. About 2 minutes after the flash, many heard a boom sound. Shaking was also recorded at several places. He added if it was a bolide, it was likely far above the earth, some 15 to 20 kilometers, and not a major danger to us, adding it is rare for any pieces to hit the surface. He says it's a reminder of the active earth that we live in.
How interesting. Just looking at the video, it almost looks like lightning, but if you heard the boom, you'd know that was something unusual. Have you heard about any impacts on the ground or any outages as a result of this?
Well, absolutely. I think when I heard it last night, that was my first thought as well, was lightning or thunder. But the good news is that we have reached out to, several emergency services. We heard from Port Moody Police, who said they did get several reports of people hearing about this boom, not knowing what it was. But we aren't hearing about any outages or any reports to, any sort of impacts on the ground. So that is the good news here, but we will keep following this story and updating you as we get more information throughout the morning. Carrie?
All right, Yasmin Gandam joining us live this morning. Thank you. Well, BC's chief coroner has announced an inquest into the horrific mass shooting in Tumbler Ridge that left 9 people dead last month.
To examine the circumstances surrounding these 9 deaths, identify any systemic or procedural issues, and make evidence-based recommendations aimed at preventing similar loss of life in the future.
Mental health services in rural communities will be a focus. The shooter, Jessie Van Roostelaar, was transitioning. She shot her mother and half-brother at home, then 5 children and a teacher's aide at school before taking her own life. The inquest is expected to examine why firearms were returned to the home, even though the shooter had previously been apprehended under the Mental Health Act. Meanwhile, the first full week of classes is underway in Tumbler Ridge for those students who are ready and wanting to go back. Infrastructure Minister Bowen Moss says there are 11 temporary classrooms and washroom facilities have been installed. There are also 8 larger double-wide temporary classrooms that have arrived in the town and are in the installation process to provide a more sustainable interim setup as long-term planning continues. Moss says there will be 24/7 security. Well, pregnant patients in Maple Ridge and Pitt Meadows will once again have to travel a little further to get care. A diversion is hitting the maternity unit at Ridge Meadows Hospital starting tomorrow at 8 a.m. and running until Monday morning. Fraser Health says it's due to staffing struggles. This is the 5th time the hospital has put the maternity unit on diversion this year. Peace Arch Hospital has had similar issues. Meanwhile, BC's largest hospital is being forced to divert patients due to a lack of staffing. Vancouver General is now diverting all pregnant patients over 20 weeks who are suffering from trauma such as car accidents. Health Minister Josie Osborne says there is a safe plan in place for those who might be impacted. According to Osborne, fewer than one pregnant patient per month might need VGH services, a comment which drew criticism.
These are life and death situations, and this is not something that anyone in your family should have to deal with. This ends up being another reminder of the specialist access crisis, that the availability of services when British Columbians need them is in decline.
The timeline for when the physician shortage will be solved at VGH is unclear. Questions are growing over who knew what and when involving landmark federal agreements recognizing Musqueam title. The Premier says he wasn't briefed, despite Ottawa insisting the province was kept informed. In late February, Ottawa signed 3 agreements recognizing the Musqueam Indian Band's Aboriginal title over its traditional territory. During question period in the legislature yesterday, the opposition pressed Premier Eby about when he was informed.
When did the Premier become informed of the Musqueam deal that was signed by the federal government?
To be absolutely clear, received no briefings about the content of this agreement, no heads up from the federal government.
Ottawa says the province was briefed weeks earlier. However, the agreements have raised concerns over private property ownership, which both Ottawa and Musqueam say is false. Musqueam's chief negotiator says it does not affect private land, adding they have been transparent throughout the process. Well, Vancouver police are warning people to keep an eye out for a crafty new break-and-enter method involving hot glue. So they say thieves used the glue to help them break into 10 apartments in 6 different buildings between August and December of last year. Here's how it works. They put hot glue on the top of apartment doors, stretching it between the door and the frame. If the glue is intact when they return a few days later, they know the residents are away, so they can break in. Well, BC is expanding health compensation coverage for its firefighters, adding 8 cancers to the list of eligible illnesses that will be covered. The changes will make BC firefighters the most comprehensively covered in Canada. The new diseases include skin cancer, mesothelioma, soft tissue sarcoma, and pharynx cancers.
Today's materials that burn, it's not just wood anymore. We're talking plastics and vinyls, and the toxicity is just through the roof. Every incident is essentially a hazmat incident.
The province says firefighters accounted for 35% of WorkSafe BC's accepted cancer claims from 2010 to 2025, despite only representing 0.5% of the overall workforce. We're learning more about Vancouver's preparations for the 2026 FIFA World Cup, which is now just 99 days away. 7 matches will be played at BC Place beginning June 13th. 350,000 fans are expected to visit Vancouver during the tournament. If you don't get a ticket, you'll have a chance to watch matches at the FIFA Fan Festival at the P&E. The City of Surrey also announcing it will offer 3 fan zones to watch matches on screens at the Civic Plaza, the Cloverdale Agriplex, and South Surrey Athletic Park.
I'm excited to see the world's fans come here, and hopefully some of the world's problems are figured out by then and they all can come.
I think it's wonderful to have people from different cultures and to showcase the beauty of our city and all that we have to offer.
It means a lot. It's going to be very exciting in the city, and I'm really looking forward to it for myself and my family.
TransLink also sharing its plans for the tournament, which includes expanded service to deal with the big crowds. On local match days, people will not be able to access BC Place by Stadium Chinatown and Galetown Roundhouse SkyTrain stations, and will instead need to get off at Main Street Science World. Okay, so they've got this plan in place, and it looks like it will be disruptive, I guess, in some way, especially if some train stations are closed and you can't get around as easily that way. But getting there on foot, not a problem. It'll be June, so the weather, in theory, will be nice.
Yeah, and you can make plans. You know what's coming, and just plan ahead too. And if you're going to the games, it will be, just awesome to see. As I think the one gentleman said, he hopes all the world's problems will be solved before that. I think we need something unifying.
We have 100 days to do it, people.
Exactly.
We can do it.
We can do it. Yeah, we can do it. Come on, we can do it. All right. Good morning. Here we are on a Wednesday morning. And time for weather. CTV weather brought to you by Craftsman Collision, BC's leader in auto body repair. Starting off cloudy again. And yes, there is a little light rain still, or just happen again. 9 degrees at the moment, so it is going to stay mild. Temperature not changing too much today, and that rain will kind of hang around for most of the morning. It's gone by the afternoon. We may see some breaks in that cloud cover late in the afternoon, and then another round of rain makes a push in through tonight, and that will, they bring things that will move off really quickly. By tomorrow morning, there could still be some rain out in the valley. But again, some clearing over Metro Vancouver and the rest of the lower mainland, but still remaining very unsettled. So we'll see those showers continue through the morning, getting into a mainly cloudy afternoon, and then the chance of showers coming back later on this evening. We'll top out at 12 degrees today. Got more with the 5-day coming up later. Carrie.
Thanks, Mark. Well, we're seeing big impacts on the global markets due to the crisis in the Middle East. How that's impacting your investments still to come. Also, more fallout from the province's announcement about the shift to daylight saving time. Why some say the safety of children could be impacted. And do you have a grumpy teen? What a new study says about the amount of sleep kids are getting these days and how it can impact their daily lives. That is still to come. We're back in a moment.
Hello there, Kara Wagland in the Sports Center newsroom with your must-see moment from Tuesday. And for it, we take you to the ice. We got a little NCAA women's hockey. And check out this save from UConn's Tia Chan. Diving in desperation, gets a glove on what looked like a sure goal for Holy Cross. One of her 27 saves on the night as she earns the must-see moment from Tuesday. And coming up today on TSN, we've got full coverage of the 2026 Montana's Brier. It all gets underway at 1 p.m. Eastern on TSN 1 and 5. That's all from SportsCenter. Have a great day.
Well, as conflict in the Middle East deepens, we're seeing a big impact on global stock markets. So how does this fluctuation and the surge in oil and gas prices affect you and your investments? CTV's Mike LeCouture reports.
The joy that comes with the opening bell quickly faded as the New York Stock Exchange dropped almost immediately. The TSX quickly followed suit as it dropped nearly 1,000 basis points 5 minutes after the open. Monday stock markets opened down but did recover, and some investment specialists see the dip as an opportunity.
So I think there'll be some opportunities here for some of the potentially higher risk names that have got hit quite hard. To potentially look at these as entry points to get back into them.
As stocks slide, the price of oil continued to climb. Iran produces less than 5% of the global output, but the Middle Eastern country is cutting off access to the Strait of Hormuz. More than 20% of the world's oil goes through that maritime passage. So while crude oil investments are rising, so is the price of gas.
About $10 a barrel increase in oil prices results in 6 cents a liter at the pumps.
The U.S. President Donald Trump campaigned on lower gas prices, but today he told reporters this increase should be short-lived.
If we have a little high oil prices for a little while, but as soon as this ends, those prices are going to drop, I believe, lower than even before.
Still, this former CEO of the Alberta Petroleum Marketing Commission worries Trump's prediction could be wrong.
Iran has these drones, $20,000 drones, that seem to be able to shut down Qatar's LNG production, right? So if that's the case, then it'll be a long time before production returns.
Now, if oil production continues to stall, some analysts worry the price could spike to $100 per barrel, a level the world hasn't seen since the 2022 Russian invasion of Ukraine. Mike LeCouture, CTV News, Ottawa.
Well, now that BC has decided to stop changing the clocks twice a year, there are a lot of questions about how kids will handle getting to school in the dark. When we spring forward one last time on Sunday, there will be more light at night, but in the winter, mornings won't be as bright. So far, school boards across the region are remaining optimistic, but we'll be keeping a close eye on how things develop, especially in December.
The good news is that our schools are closed for the last half of the month for the winter break anyway. So that part, we eliminate 2 weeks right then and there.
Scientists and doctors have long argued that more light in the morning is better for our health. However, the government believes the public, so far anyway, prefers the longer summer nights. Well, it seems there's a new kind of scam every week, and artificial intelligence is making it harder to tell what's real and what isn't.
People are tired of getting all these messages and all these phone calls relating to scams, and I think what it's doing is it's slowly wearing people down.
We're going to have tips on how to spot them so you and your money stay safe. That's still to come. But first, do you have a grumpy, tired teen? What a new study says about the amount of sleep kids are getting these days and how it can impact their daily lives. We're back in a moment. Stay with us.
Dreaming of an unforgettable adventure? Indulge in the magic of Hong Kong. Enter for a chance to win a trip for two, courtesy of the Hong Kong Tourism Board. The prize includes round-trip flights on Cathay Pacific, 4 luxurious nights at the Park Lane, Hong Kong, $1,000 spending money, and a 3-day pass granting access to over 20 amazing attractions, explore vibrant markets and serene temples, indulge in world-class cuisine, and take in breathtaking views. Enter online at ctvvancouver.ca or scan the QR code on your screen.
Well, a ranch in Montana is saying goodbye to the winter weather and hello to the newest member of its family. The Clydesdale Outpost in Whitefish has welcomed Cleo, the first foal of the season. She was born almost right at the beginning of the Lunar New Year, which just happens to be the year of the horse. For now, Cleo is staying close to her mother in the barn, with more babies expected to come in the following weeks. Aw, very cute. We see a lot of babies on this show. Very rare that it's a horse.
They're big babies that we're showing too, right? Yeah, and I mean that in a nice way. But yeah, and then of course she'll be making her debut on the next Budweiser Clydesdale.
Likely.
See on the Super Bowl. Right?
Likely.
Yeah. She'll join it. Yeah, she's got a place in line already. All right, let's get a look at our weather. And yes, we're starting off again with some more rain and some showers burning around. There could be a chance of a thunderstorm also out toward the valley, as we've got to get the tail end of this cold front moving through. And it's still going to create a little bit unsettled conditions for today and some of tomorrow. 9 right now with some light rain. That rain will pick up and move off later on this morning. We'll get some breaks in that cloud cover as we head into the afternoon. Then another round of rain coming tonight. Could be a couple of showers around through the valley tomorrow, but then we'll get into a nice mix of sun and cloud for the afternoon. So we get a bit of a break before the weekend comes. So rain today in Port Hardy. We've got chance of showers down through Campbell River, Comox, also Nanaimo, Port Alberni, Tofino, and Victoria as well, with highs of around 10 to 12 degrees. 10 for the Sunshine Coast, 12 up through Squamish. Whistler could see a mix of rain and snow too. And then here for Metro Vancouver, we'll see the rain ease off this morning. Some sunny breaks though around much of Metro Vancouver, but there's that risk of a thunderstorm out toward Abbotsford this morning. And then on our 5-day, there's a little clearing tomorrow with a mix of sun and cloud, but then rain is back for Friday, and yes, it continues for the weekend with showers on Saturday and rain also on Sunday. Mild temperatures, though. Carrie.
The rain's turn because we had the sun last weekend, and now it's going to be the rainy weekend.
You're saying move over. It's
alternating.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Mark. So if you are the parent of a teenager, there is a good chance your child is not getting enough sleep. New research shows more teens are missing out on sleep. And as ABC's Ashan Singh reports, screen time may not be the only reason why.
From school to activities, teenagers are tired, and it's likely because they're not getting enough sleep. A new study of more than 120,000 high school students finds nearly 77% are missing the mark on the recommended amount of sleep on school nights, up significantly from 69% when the study began in 2007. But the most dramatic shift is in the kids getting the least amount of sleep. Nearly 1 in 4 teens now report sleeping 5 hours or less per night.
And there is biology there that says it's harder when kids enter those teen years to get to bed on time.
The trend was seen across grades, sexes, and ethnic groups, though increases were larger among non-Hispanic Black teens. Researchers found teens who report depression symptoms, bullying, or suicidal thoughts were more likely to sleep less, but sleep loss also rose among teens without those factors. Researchers say the trend likely reflects broader pressures in teens' daily lives, not just screen use. Though a separate review of more than 4,500 children and young adults found that more overall screen time was linked to later bedtimes, but not necessarily worse sleep quality or shorter duration. However, using screens once already in bed was associated with worse sleep that night.
Parents can make sure screens are out of rooms, try to get the kids to turn the screens off before bedtime, make sure they're exercising, getting into sunlight during the day, and try to keep a consistent bedtime week and weekend.
And the Journal of the American Medical Association points to school start times as a major factor for insufficient sleep, saying that studies suggest a school start time of 8:30 a.m. or later for longer sleep times for teenagers. Ashin Singh, ABC News, New York.
Wow. Can you imagine if they switched school to start at 8:30? Mind you, it's going to be darker in the winter apparently now, so maybe that'll work out in the end.
But still, you wish those days when you were going to school, right? Why did they come up with this idea now,
I wonder why they do need to start so early. I mean, I guess it's got to get them ready for the real world, right?
Yeah,
but
I guess
if it means them getting better sleep.
And I think overall people are keeping in mind and trying to get better quality of sleep. They're not just saying, oh, okay, I've just got to get up and do it. Oh, I'll get a couple hours here and there. We know how important sleep is for us on this job.
I don't get enough. I'm trying to go to bed by 8 p.m. now.
Yeah, that's usually
Isn't that crazy?
That's usually when I'm in bed too.
Doesn't really work though. It's hard because I have teens and they're up late. So what do you do?
Mr. Party on a Tuesday night.
Well, if your teen doesn't shower enough because they're too tired, this might be the solution. Okay, so where are this futuristic bathing systems being tried out? It kind of looks like a car wash, but it's for humans, hands-free. Not making this up, but still to come. Also, we're getting a closer look at the damage on the ground in Tehran as the crisis in the Middle East intensifies. We'll have the latest coming up.
Did you hear a big boom or see a flash of light across the night sky? We'll tell you what it was on Your Morning Vancouver.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us. It's a question on the minds of many in BC this morning after a loud boom and bright flash could be seen and heard in the skies above the south coast. Well, what was that? So this is the flash everyone's talking about. It followed a loud boom that could be heard all over Metro Vancouver and even into Washington State. CTV's Yasmin Gandam is in Abbotsford, where the boom was reportedly heard the loudest. Good morning, Yasmin. So what have we found out this morning?
Good morning, Carrie. Well, you could hear this big boom just after 9 p.m. last night. And as you mentioned, a lot of people on social media reporting that it was the loudest here in Abbotsford. And now I did speak with a seismologist with Natural Resources Canada who said that this was not an earthquake, but rather it was a meteor exploding in the atmosphere called a bolide. Take a listen. He notes light travels faster than sound. About 2 minutes after the flash, many heard a boom. Shaking was also recorded at several places. He added if it was a bolide, it was likely far above the earth, some 15 to 20 kilometers, and not a major danger to us, adding it's rare for any pieces to hit the surface. He says it's a reminder of the active earth we live in, and we've reached out to several emergency services. Port Moody police say that that they did receive several reports from people saying that they did hear this sound, and there were questions, as to not knowing what there were, but there were no outages or major impacts reported on the ground. People really just not sure, and there's a lot of people saying, oh, was this, some sort of transformer explosion, and, people reporting that their houses shook as well. So definitely something very unusual and rare here, but no damages to report. Carrie?
All right, we'll keep following this story. Yasmin Gandam joining us this morning. Thank you. Well, turning now to the conflict in the Middle East, Iran is vowing complete destruction as the war is now well into its 5th day. It comes with U.S. and Israeli airstrikes intensifying in the region. This video shows damage from 5 days of U.S.-Israeli attacks on Tehran. The Israeli military says Iranian security headquarters were struck in overnight attacks. Iranian state media says a 3-day funeral for Iran's former supreme leader, who was killed in an Israeli airstrike Saturday, has been postponed. A U.S.-based human rights activist news agency says at last count, just under 1,100 citizens have been killed in Iran since the attacks began last Saturday. Well, speaking in Australia this morning, Prime Minister Mark Carney was asked if the strike in Iran broke international law.
It would appear prima facie not to be consistent or to be inconsistent with international law. It's a judgment for others to make. I'm not a lawyer, let alone an international legal expert.
Welcome. Carney also called the conflict an example of the failure in the international order. He says despite decades of sanctions and diplomacy, Iran's nuclear threat remains. The prime minister has faced criticism for initially backing strikes on Iran. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre is making his first international trip as opposition leader, where he proposed a new partnership that would strengthen the existing ties.
When the treaties and agreements that allow us to trade freely face upheaval, we need to double down and deepen our ties with our oldest and most trusted friends.
Poilievre said he'd like to secure a more modern partnership pact between Canada, the UK, Australia, and New Zealand. His call for a partnership is meant to boost trade, increase labor mobility, and strengthen security ties. Poilievre will leave London for Berlin today. In Toronto, police are investigating a possible hate crime after a synagogue was struck by gunfire.
We heard a series of gunshots. We have only been a valued part of this community, is how we felt. And this, on a certain level, shattered that.
Multiple bullet holes were seen in the front windows after gunshots were heard just before 11 p.m. Sunday. The congregation had gathered earlier in the evening to celebrate the Jewish holiday of Purim, and some members were still inside the synagogue when shots were fired. Thankfully, no one was injured. A truck driver in Ottawa was lucky to escape unharmed after a load of wood went right through the trailer and onto the back of his truck cab. So look at this. You can see the big rig stopped in the middle of the highway as crews work in a space between the trailer and the back of the cab. Police say it was caused by the driver coming to a sudden stop because of construction. The ordeal caused a massive highway backlog for hours as it was cleared. The driver was given a $390 fine for having an insecure load. Stateside, we're seeing the dramatic rescue of a young woman whose truck slipped off a snowy road in Ohio and crashed upside down in a river. ABC's Sam Champion has more.
I need someone to shout out of this window and pop this door.
This morning, dramatic body camera video capturing a desperate race against time to rescue a 19-year-old trapped in her overturned vehicle in freezing water rising around her.
Please, God, please. How far is the water? I know it. My head's barely up.
Andy Burns was driving home from work Sunday night when she lost control on a slick, snowy road, plummeting 15 feet down a ravine and crashing into the cold, dark Little Miami River.
I was terrified. It was completely blackout, pitch black. I didn't think that anybody could hear me or knew what happened, and I just started to freak out.
Burns unable to escape, choking on water, but able to find a small pocket of air. Her Apple Watch crash detection calling 911.
Please help me, please. They're coming. They're coming. Just try to stay calm.
Firefighters and sheriff deputies arriving on the scene and jumping into the water, racing to free her.
Grab my hand. Grab my hand. Grab both my hands. Both my hands, okay?
Just the way that the car went in and flipped upside down altogether, that's a very, very dangerous car accident, wreck. What really, really helped her was her being able to stay awake and find that air pocket. And for her staying calm is very impressive.
With the car just moments from filling up and just a few inches of that air pocket left, Burns was finally pulled from the truck.
You got a rope to grab onto, okay? Yep, it's that cold water.
Frightened and freezing, she's able to walk away with only bruises.
Just overall, surviving that car accident of one being in the water is very, very, very lucky, very fortunate. God was definitely on her side for that.
Well, there is no limit on what people might dream up next when it comes to future technology. But what do you think about a car wash for people? Okay, so your next bath could look like this if you're willing to pay up. The makers of a futuristic human washing machine in Japan are promising a full body clean in just 15 minutes without any soap or scrubbing. One of Japan's biggest home electronics makers is displaying a demo unit at one of their stores. Once a person is seated inside this special tub, it fills with warm water while the two types of bubbles remove dirt and cleanse the skin. Meanwhile, a built-in projector shows peaceful images and immersive speakers play music picked by monitoring your heart rate for a relaxing experience. And all these people with their phones are out with the lid coming up. Okay, 15 minutes, that's not that fast, first of all. So if we're going for speed here, I'll tell you what, I have a shower in 5 minutes, no problem.
Yeah.
That's not the issue.
Yeah, and then what happens when, you know, the water fills up and the soap comes in? Well, they get those big brushes coming down, you know, scrub you clean.
It just says it's like, it's just soap that... I'm just looking at this. It fills with two types of warm water, two types of bubbles remove dirt and cleanse the skin. So it's basically, there's no scrubbing involved. You're just soaking in soap.
All right. Any carnauba wax?
I don't know about this. I mean, I guess someone will want that.
Yeah, or you could do what I did one time, is just leave your sunroof open when you go through the car.
Perfect.
There you go. You got a shower and everything else.
No wonder you're so shiny up top there.
Exactly. That's right. I need it. I need it, right? All right. Yeah, a little extra wax up here, please. Thank you. Let's get to your weather. CTV weather brought to you by Craftsman Collision, BC's leader in auto body repair. Yes, if you have a hairstyle like me, or you have a hairstyle, just whatever it is, cover up. You've got some light rain to deal with right now. 9 degrees at the moment, and we'll see that rain kind of hang around for most of the morning as we're getting this tail end of this cold front moving through. Still keeping things unsettled, although later on today you could see some breaks in that cloud cover, but another round of rain moving through tonight. And it could get a little bit heavy at times as well. Some of it may be there in the morning for around the valley, but other than that, when we get into tomorrow, it'll be a little drier, and we should see a nice mix of sun and cloud throughout the day. However, rain does come back, but we'll see the showers continue this morning. Mainly cloudy in the afternoon with some sunny breaks, getting warmer up to about 12 with that rain returning tonight. We'll have more details with the 5-day forecast. Got that coming up in about 10 minutes. Carrie.
All right. Thanks, Mark. So what kind of health issues can be detected early in your children with a cholesterol test? Canada's pediatricians are recommending earlier screening to treat childhood conditions. In our next half hour, we'll discuss with the lead author on this study and what you need to know about the test.
People are tired of getting all these messages and all these phone calls relating to scams, and I think what it's doing is it's slowly wearing people down.
From AI scams to fraudulent calls, it seems there's a new kind of scam every week. We'll have tips to spot them so you and your money stay safe. We're back in a moment.
Stocks appear to be rebounding while the U.S. dollar looks like it's halting a two-day rally after a report that Iran made indirect contact with the U.S. to try and negotiate an end to the war in the Middle East, boosting hopes that the conflict could be short-lived. Operatives from Iran's Ministry of Intelligence reportedly used back channels to contact the Central Intelligence Agency a day after the U.S.-Israeli attacks began, the New York Times reporting that today. The report says officials were skeptical that either the Trump administration or Iran was ready for an off-ramp. More than a dozen Canadian and Australian pension giants, including the Canada Pension Plan, have signed a first-of-its-kind agreement to ramp up investment between the two countries, home to two of the world's largest retirement systems. The initiative was announced in Sydney on Wednesday during Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney's visit to Australia. Under a memorandum of understanding, the first between the two systems, funds will cooperate to channel more pension capital into opportunities in both markets. Those are your morning business headlines. For BNN Bloomberg, I'm Roger Peterson.
The BNN Bloomberg Report is brought to you by IG Private Wealth Management. Does your financial advisor put you at the center?
Well, it is Fraud Prevention Month, and many Canadians are getting fed up with having to deal with scams on a daily basis. Some say they have fraud fatigue, but still worry they could accidentally click on something that could get them into trouble. CTV's Pat Foran reports.
Many of us are bombarded with fake texts, emails, and phone calls on a daily basis. RBC conducted a survey and found that 81% of Canadians feel there is a new scam to watch out for almost every week, and 83% said it's safest to assume any unexpected text, email, or call is a scam. Equifax Canada has its own survey and says 67% of Canadians worry about identity theft, 64% impersonation and phishing scams, 59% digital payment scams, and 46% investment and romance fraud. Scams used to be much easier to spot, and now many worry they could accidentally get conned.
The fraudsters are so good and so sophisticated that absolutely anybody could fall victim to these traps.
AI is also being used to create fake legal documents such as pay stubs, insurance forms, and driver's licenses that look like the real thing.
With the advent of artificial intelligence, we have seen more and more people fall victim to this than would have in the past.
The Equifax survey also found 68% feel banks should implement stronger security measures to protect accounts, and 59% support mandatory education in schools and public awareness campaigns.
People are tired of getting all these messages and all these phone calls relating to scams. And I think what it's doing is it's slowly wearing people down.
The Credit Counseling Society says there is a real danger if people let their guard down and give out personal information, it can lead to identity theft. And there's no guarantee if you get scammed that you'll get your money back.
Really be cautious about ever giving any personal information, dates of birth, social insurance numbers. Any little bit of information can lead you down a road to trouble.
The Canadian Anti-Scam Coalition is trying to raise awareness to help Canadians recognize fraud. Stop and think, check to see if it's legitimate. If you're not sure, ask family and friends, and talk and share details about scams to protect others. Taking extra time could save you a financial burden. Pat Foran, CTV News.
Well, a new study is raising questions about video games and mental health. Researchers found preteens who struggle to control their gaming at the age of 12 are more likely to report psychotic-like experiences a year later. That can include mild paranoia, unusual beliefs, or disturbed perceptions. Researchers say it's not just about screen time, but about whether gaming starts to crowd out daily life. At the same time, researchers say games can help young people build friendships and find community, adding the key is support at home and at school. We know celebrities who have had wax figures made of themselves, but what about balloon figures? That honor has gone to Stephen Colbert, who tells us about in his latest edition of Meanwhile. Mark has that coming up in your late laugh. Meanwhile. On this day in 1974, Swedish group ABBA released Waterloo. It won the Eurovision Song Contest and topped the charts in 9 countries. Your milestones are next. Time now for your milestones. First up this morning, happy 8th birthday, Ezra. Wishing you a special day. You deserve it. Love from Mom and your family.
Happy 11th birthday to Lakita. Love from Auntie Dawn and the Ross family.
Okay, so happy birthday to my dear friend Sandra. This is my friend. You are one cool gal. Love, Carrie, and all your friends.
Happy birthday, Sandra. And a happy 15th birthday to Marcus. Wishing you a year of fond memories and accomplishments. Love from your parental units and your family and friends.
Aww.
There you go, Marcus.
Happy birthday, Marcus. Send us your milestones to bcmilestones@ctv.ca. They grow up so fast, don't they, Mark?
Oh, they do, yes. All right, one of those parental units is working with us here, Jimmy. That's our floor director. And this is Robson Street, looking out at still a kind of wet morning. There is some light rain around and a few showers. That'll continue. This cold front sort of making its way through. It's the tail end of it, though, but it is keeping things unsettled. 8 degrees right now at YVR. Winds are out of the east at 15 kilometers an hour. We'll see some of that rain dry up. Some breaks in that cloud cover as we head into the evening, but then tonight another big blob of rain comes moving through, so it'll be a wet night. And then tomorrow, clearing up a little bit for a nice mix of sun and cloud and drying out a little bit too. It doesn't stay dry for long. Port Hardy, we'll see some showers, for periods of rain rather. Chance of showers down through Campbell River, Comox, and Nanaimo. Also out at Tofino. Port Alberni is seeing some showers, and a chance of showers through Victoria today too. Sunshine Coast, you will get showers with highs of 10. Rain up through Squamish, a mix of rain and snow sometimes in Whistler and in Metro Vancouver and the Valley. We're looking at showers ending this morning, some breaks in that cloud cover later. Also a risk of a thunderstorm out toward the Valley too. And then tomorrow, a little drier with a nice mix of sun and cloud, but look for the rain to return on Friday with rain and showers right through the weekend. Temperatures stay on the mild side though. Well, we know about celebrities who have had wax figures made of themselves, right? But how about a balloon figure? Well, Stephen Colbert could be one of the first, as he showed us on his latest Meanwhile segment last night. Here's your late laugh.
Meanwhile, a man built an electrified chessboard that shocks players for bad moves. I'm sorry, that headline again. Man invents way to be lonelier. The idea behind the board is pretty simple, is to see if negative reinforcement would help him become a better chess player. And whatever. Here's a bunch of people getting shocked.
This is taser chess.
That's cool. Looks almost as fun as shoots and pepper spray. Meanwhile, in our previous installment of Meanwhile, I assume you watched them all, I told you about a New York surgical resident trying to pay off his $400,000 in student loans by making balloon art. But it seems I forgot one important detail.
I woke up yesterday with dozens of messages saying that I was on the Stephen Colbert show yesterday. He didn't mention my name, so I'm like, how am I going to get to this $400,000 if you're not going to plug me? And so ultimately, there's only one thing to do right now. This is our Stephen Colbert balloon.
First of all, I had no idea balloons came in Caucasian. Clearly, I got to help this guy out. There's student debt crisis, and he's a frontline responder doing critical work for society, but mostly because his balloon version of me has a waistline that is snatched. Look at that. I'm like a figure skater.
I was noticing that too. It's like, wow, that's a teeny little waist on him.
Yeah, really, yeah. Like a balloon statue like that.
He's been doing his Pilates. I mean, that's pretty impressive. I didn't know you could do balloon art of people.
Well, you can do balloon art of, I think, anything but you've got to be skilled enough and to have like the really long balloons and to know when to twist them and form them. It's incredible to watch people do them like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the coloring. You got to get the coloring right.
Right.
Caucasian.
It's a rare balloon.
I think the squeaking once in a while would make me a little, crazy at the end.
Oh, yeah.
If you rub it on you can have it stick to your hair, or rub it on your hair, it'll stick to a wall.
Yeah. Balloons
Imagine
are
having
crazy.
Stephen Colbert on your wall.
And you'd hurt your fingers because you're trying to tie them all. Like, that's work.
Mm-hmm.
I hope he gets his coin.
Keep the pins away from him, though.
Yeah.
Well, you see a deflated Stephen Colbert. Did you guys hear the big boom last night? Big flash of light, yeah. It was a boom and flash that was heard and seen all over the South Coast. Yeah, what experts are saying may have caused the loud noise and how far the flash of light was seen. We'll have this coming up after the break. Also, an ancient spirit. What researchers are saying about a mystery bottle of booze dated to the 1800s. And yeah, they gave it a taste. Also, another diversion is hitting a maternity unit, and it could impact pregnant people. How long it's expected to last and where patients are being diverted. We're back in a moment with your top story. What the heck was that? British Columbians are trying to figure out what caused a loud boom and a bright flash of light in the South Coast sky. Also, a lack of staff means pregnant patients will be diverted away from Ridge Meadows Hospital, while a similar issue has popped up at Vancouver General.
My comments were wrong.
And Vancouver's mayor clears the air on false comments he made about an opposition councillor, why Ken Sim is apologizing. Good morning, everyone. It's Wednesday, March 4th. Welcome to Your Morning Vancouver. I'm Carrie Adams. Well, you may have heard it, seen it, or even felt it. A flash illuminating the night sky following a big boom. People all over the South Coast and even down in Washington State were jolted from it. And now everyone's asking, what exactly was that? CTV's Yasmin Gandam joins us now live from Abbotsford, where people reported the blast was the loudest. Good morning, Yasmin. Early indications suggest it was a meteor exploding. What can you tell us about that?
Good morning, Carrie. That's right. It happened just after 9 p.m. last night. And a seismologist with Natural Resources Canada says early indications suggest it was not a quake, but as you mentioned, a meteor exploding in the atmosphere called a bowline. Take a listen. He notes light travels faster than sound. About 2 minutes after the flash, many heard a boom sound. Shaking was also recorded at several places. He added if it was a bolide, it was likely far above the Earth, some 15 to 20 kilometers, and not a major danger to us, adding it's rare for any pieces to hit the surface. He says it's a reminder of the active Earth that we live in.
Well, I didn't see it or feel it, but I've never heard of a bolide before, so this is new, Yasmin. But do we have any word of if there were any impacts on the ground? Were there any outages as a result of this?
Absolutely, Carrie. Something that we haven't heard of. And again, it speaks to just how rare it is. And in terms of dangers, that is the good news on this. We have reached out to several emergency services, and Port Moody Police did tell us that they did receive several reports of people reporting their house shook or they heard a sound and they weren't sure what it was. Some comparing it to a transformer explosion, but no power outages and no impacts on the ground to report thus far. Carrie?
And we're continuing to gather video on that, so hopefully we'll have more. Yasmin Gandam joining us. Thank you. Well, BC's chief coroner has announced an inquest into the horrific mass shooting in Tumbler Ridge that left 9 people dead last month.
To examine the circumstances surrounding these 9 deaths, identify any systemic or procedural issues, and make evidence-based recommendations aimed at preventing similar loss of life in the future.
Mental health services in rural communities will be a focus. The shooter, Jessie Van Roostelaar, was transitioning. She shot her mother and half-brother at home, then 5 children and a teacher's aide at school before taking her own life. The inquest is expected to examine why firearms were returned to the home, even though the shooter had previously been apprehended under the Mental Health Act. Meanwhile, the first full week of classes is underway in Tumbler Ridge for those students who are ready and wanting to go back. Infrastructure Minister Bowen Moss says there are 11 temporary classrooms and washroom facilities now installed. There are also 8 larger double-wide temporary classrooms that have arrived in town and are in the installation process to provide a more sustainable interim setup as long-term planning continues. Moss says there will be 24/7 security in place. Pregnant patients in Maple Ridge and Pitt Meadows will once again have to travel a little further to get care. A diversion is hitting the maternity unit at Ridge Meadows Hospital starting tomorrow at 8 a.m. and running until Monday morning. Fraser Health says it's due to staffing struggles. This is the 5th time this hospital has put the maternity unit on diversion this year. Peace Arch Hospital has also had similar issues. Meanwhile, BC's largest hospital is being forced to divert patients due to a lack of staffing. Vancouver General is now diverting all pregnant patients over 20 weeks who are suffering from trauma such as car accidents. Health Minister Josie Osborne says there is a safe plan in place for those who might be impacted. According to Osborne, fewer than one pregnant patient per month might need VGH services, a comment which drew criticism.
These are life and death situations, and this is not something that anyone in your family should have to deal with. This ends up being another reminder of the specialist access crisis, that the availability of services when British Columbians need them is in decline.
The timeline for when the physician shortage will be solved at VGH is unclear. Questions are growing over who knew what and when involving landmark federal agreements recognizing Musqueam title. The Premier says he wasn't briefed, despite Ottawa insisting the province was kept informed. In late February, Ottawa signed 3 agreements recognizing the Musqueam Indian Band's Aboriginal title over its traditional territory. During question period in the legislature yesterday, the opposition pressed David Eby about when he was informed.
When did the Premier become informed of the Musqueam deal that was signed by the federal government?
To be absolutely clear, received no briefings about the content of this agreement, no heads up from the federal government.
Ottawa says the province was briefed weeks earlier. However, the agreements have raised concerns over private property ownership, which both Ottawa and Musqueam say is false. Musqueam's chief negotiator says it does not affect private land, adding they have been transparent throughout the process. Vancouver Mayor Ken Sim is finally providing an explanation for why he made inflammatory false comments about an opposition city councillor. Sim says his false allegations came from a photo that was shared with him. During a briefing with Chinese media last month, Sim called out Councillor Sean Orr, saying he was distributing drugs on Christmas Day. Councillor Lenny Zhao repeated the claims on WeChat, saying the non-ABC councillors were using and distributing drugs. Both have since apologized. Now Sim revealing he did not verify the photo that was shared with him.
I referenced a picture that had been shown to me regarding Councillor Orr distributing drugs. I didn't verify what I thought I saw, and frankly, I should have never repeated it to begin with.
To me, this shows incompetent leadership, that you would not fact-check this photo before going to the media.
Orr says he's still considering legal action. Sim calls it a learning experience and that he will hold himself to a higher standard going forward. Well, Vancouver police are warning people to keep an eye out for a crafty new break-and-enter method involving hot glue. So they say that thieves use the glue to help them break into 10 apartments in 6 different buildings between August and December of last year. Here's how it works. They put hot glue on the top of apartment doors, stretching it between the door and the frame. If the glue is intact when they return a few days later, they know that the residents are away, so they can break in. Archaeologists in Utah dug up an unexpected type of ancient spirit.
Dried fruit notes. There's a little bit of vinegar to it, but surprisingly, I think it had held up after being in a bottle under the ground for 150 years.
The mystery bottle of booze, still corked, was dated to the 1800s. Archaeologists teamed up with a local distillery and used a needle to extract the spirit and give it a taste. Officials think it's a bottle of sherry or beer that was dug up during a construction project in the old mining town of Alta. Old booze. Okay. Aged. I'm really curious to know what that would have tasted like. And it's, I mean, I don't know what sherry really tastes like, but I feel like the fact that they can't tell if it's sherry or beer tells me that they don't really know what it is.
Maybe it's neither, you know. Maybe it's some old soda pop or something left around or whatever.
It just looks like a regular bottle that we would have on shelves today, though.
Yeah, but if you would you trust something if you unearthed it for all the time? You're not sure what it is, so.
I mean, I'm sure they have ways of knowing if it was legit or safe, hopefully.
I hope so, yeah.
Is anyone checking on them? Hope they're okay.
Hope they didn't do the spit take. Oh, this will be like, oh, what's that? Let's get a look at your weather. CTV weather brought to you by Chambers Plan, Canada's #1 plan for employee benefits. More than just health and dental. Learn more at chamberplan.ca. Getting a little break from the showers right now. It is mostly cloudy, 9 degrees. Wind is picking up a little bit. It's out of the south at 11 kilometers an hour. We'll see more showers on the way, though, through this morning. And then by the afternoon, we'll get some breaks in that clouds somewhere. Also, there's a risk of a thunderstorm out in towards the valley later on tonight, or later on today. And then another round of rain moving through tonight. There could be a few showers around in the morning, and then it'll start to dry out and clear out for a nice mix of sun and cloud as we head into the afternoon. So we get a bit of a break from the rain, but this morning we could see a few more showers, and then mainly cloudy into the afternoon with the rain returning this evening and temperatures topping out at about 12 degrees. More details with the 5-day forecast and our Scenic snapshot coming up in about 10 minutes. Carrie.
All right. Thank you, Mark. So the countdown to kick off is officially underway.
I'm excited to see the world's fans come here, and hopefully some of the world's problems are figured out by then.
We're getting a clearer picture of how Metro Vancouver plans to handle celebrations and the influx of people for the FIFA World Cup. We'll have that still to come. But first, Canada's pediatricians are recommending all kids between the ages of 2 and 10 get screened for high cholesterol. What you need to know right after the break. High cholesterol is often regarded as a condition that affects adults, leading to increased risks of heart attack and stroke. But a new report is upending that belief, now telling parents to get children screened early to prevent future heart problems. We're joined now by lead author and pediatric cardiologist, Dr. Michael Khoury. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
So, Dr. Khoury, the Canadian Pediatric Society is recommending all kids between the ages of 2 and 10 years of age get screened for high cholesterol. A lot of parents watching this might say, well, my children can't possibly have high cholesterol. They're so young. What led to this recommendation?
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity to explain and provide some context. So, we know that cardiovascular disease is a leading cause of death amongst Canadians and has been like this for some time and around the world as well. And cardiovascular disease is driven by a process called atherosclerosis, which is that plaque buildup that forms. And that's a lifelong problem. That doesn't start in adulthood. Rather, it starts in childhood, and it's associated with risk factors like high cholesterol. And a certain percentage of Canadian children have something called familial hypercholesterolemia, a genetic concern that causes lifelong severe elevations in cholesterol. And FH is silent. You wouldn't know it if you look at a child, and therefore the best way to detect it is by screening. And so that really was the key driver behind this guidance from the Canadian Pediatric Society.
Okay, so what type of test is needed to help identify this? I think it's a blood test. Maybe describe what that exactly looks like.
Sure. So it's a cholesterol screening panel, which is a rather routine test that is done in virtually any laboratory.
Is there any other sort of conditions that can be identified early with the information that is gathered from this test?
Yeah, on our cholesterol screening panel, it doesn't just look for FH, but it looks for any sort of cholesterol issues. And so in some other at-risk children, for example, if they have obesity, diabetes, or kidney disease, and they may be at increased risk for high cholesterol as well. And so we would be able to detect more minor elevations, which could serve as a leaping point to reemphasize dietary and physical activity recommendations.
Yeah, you talked a little bit about the genetic part of it, how some children are more likely to have high cholesterol because of genetics. But what are some of the other causes of high cholesterol outside of that?
Yeah, so our genetics play a significant role, and whether it's a specific genetic disease like familial hypercholesterolemia, or whether it's just a genetic predisposition, genetics are a fundamental aspect. Now, other elements include risk factor conditions, so things like having diabetes, having obesity, which is present in a large portion of our population, or having things like kidney disease or other medical complexities can drive high cholesterol.
So what are some of the long-term impacts on children if this does go unchecked, if they don't receive an early test for this?
Specifically in the setting of FH, we have quite robust data that if we miss FH, which is commonly the case, and the severely elevated levels remain high in an unchecked manner for decades, then there's at a significantly increased risk for early heart attacks and strokes. It's unfortunately all too common that we diagnose FH after the first catastrophic event in young adulthood. And really, this is something that's entirely preventable. And so that's why we know that if we find it from childhood, we can dramatically reduce or even normalize their cardiovascular risk. And on top of that, for every child we can find their at-risk parents. So we can find the parent that's also affected, and it allows us to implement changes for that parent before an event.
Interesting. Dr. Michael Curry joining us this morning. Thanks for walking us through what it means. Appreciate your time.
Thank you again. Thanks for having me.
Well, have you ever thought about deferring your property taxes? Recent provincial changes could shift their impact. We're to learn more about the pros and cons of postponing your property taxes. That's coming up in our next half hour.
I'm excited to see the world's fans come here, and hopefully some of the world's problems are figured out by then.
The countdown is on. We're getting a clearer picture of how Metro Vancouver plans to handle celebrations and the influx of people coming for FIFA World Cup. We're back in a moment.
You dreaming of an unforgettable adventure? Indulge in the magic of Hong Kong. Enter for a chance to win a trip for two, courtesy of the Hong Kong Tourism Board. The prize includes round-trip flights on Cathay Pacific, 4 luxurious nights at the Park Lane, Hong Kong, $1,000 spending money, and a 3-day pass granting access to over 20 amazing attractions. Explore the vibrant markets and serene temples, indulge in world-class cuisine, and take in breathtaking views. Enter online at ctvvancouver.ca or scan the QR code on your screen. So good luck. 7:23 on this Wednesday morning. We're in the middle of the week, and that cold front is slowly kind of working its way through, still keeping things a little bit unsettled. We'll reach a high today of about 12 as we check the almanac. Average on this day, average is around 9 for this time of year. Last year on this day, we hit 10, and our record was back in 1937. No, I wasn't around then. 17 degrees then, and then 6 o'clock on the nose is when the sundown is tonight. We will see that later because we're seeing the rain and showers continuing through the morning. Get into the afternoon. It dries out a bit. Still could be a little bit of a problem out toward the valley, but there could be some breaks in that cloud cover. But another round of rain coming through later on tonight, and that will be gone. And tomorrow it dries out, and that cloud cover clears up even more. So with a nice mix of sun and cloud coming, and a bit of a dry break after that. Port Hardy will see rain and 8. It's showers for Campbell River, Comox. Chance of showers also through Nanaimo and Victoria. Highs of 12 there. 10 out of Tofino, Ucluelet. Sunshine Coast looking at a chance of showers. Showers as well for Squamish. Whistler could see a mix of showers and flurries. And then showers here for Metro Vancouver. Also a chance of seeing a thunderstorm out toward the valley, but then some breaks in that cloud cover later with highs of 12. So here's our 5 days. So tomorrow, looking at a nicer day, a nice mix of sun and cloud, but the rain does come back on Friday. And then rain and showers through Saturday and Sunday. Temperatures still staying a little milder than average. Here's a scenic snapshot today, and this is a beautiful picture from Gord Jewsbury. We took this of blue and reflective Christina Lake against some blue sky. So if you'd like to send us your scenic snapshot, you can email us at scenicsnapshot@ctv.ca. Carrie.
Is a gorgeous.
It is,
shot.
isn't it? Yeah.
Yes, love that. Thanks for sending that in. Well, the countdown is on. We are just under 100 days away from the World Cup coming to North America. CTV's Martin McMahon has more on the preparations ahead of the tournament kicking off June 11th, with Vancouver welcoming hundreds of thousands of fans as one of 16 host cities.
Just 100 days until the World Cup begins. 7 matches will be played at BC Place.
I'm excited to see the world's fans come here, and hopefully some of the world's problems are figured out by then and they all can come.
I think it's wonderful to have people from different cultures and to showcase the beauty of our city.
It means a lot. It's going to be very exciting in the city, and I'm really looking forward to it for myself and my family.
350,000 fans are expected to visit Vancouver during the tournament. But if you don't get a ticket, you'll have a chance to watch matches at the FIFA Fan Festival at the PNE. The City of Surrey also announcing it will offer 3 fan zones to watch matches on screens at the Civic Plaza, the Cloverdale Agriplex, and South Surrey Athletic Park.
We all know there is going to be very few of us that will ever be able to get a ticket, so these fan zones will be packed.
As far as traffic disruptions go, the City of Vancouver says road closures will not be as extensive as initially planned, with the only extended closure on a section of Pacific Boulevard.
You know, this is one of the things about nearing the event. When you're further out, you don't know the details of what you're working on. A lot of it is calculus. A lot of it is sort of like you're looking in a crystal ball. We got the draw, and after the draw, we found out what teams are coming. We get closer and closer to the event, and our plans crystallize.
TransLink is also revealing its plans for the tournament. On local match days, people will not be able to access BC Place by Stadium Chinatown and Yaletown Roundhouse SkyTrain stations, and will instead need to get off at Main Street Science World. However, transit service will be expanded to deal with the big crowds.
We know we need to do that to meet the capacity, and we've learned the best ways to do that as well. But really, that lesson from the 2010 Olympics is to have more people on the ground on game days and throughout the tournament.
The first game at BC Place goes June 13th, beginning with a matchup between Australia and a yet-to-be-determined opponent. Martin McMahon, CTV News, Vancouver.
Wow, less than 100 days. Hey, we have the Trionda. Studio.
It is. Yep. Yeah. The OG ball.
Right. This is exciting. I mean, as it gets closer, obviously, we're starting to learn more about the plans that are going to be in place. The fan zones are going to be really fun. Yeah. So what are you guys most looking forward to?
I think it's a little bit hard to look forward to it with the events of the world right now, but I'm hoping that by June we can focus on the soccer. I don't know, my headspace isn't there right now.
Well, they aren't meant to be political events, but because of what is going on in the world, like politics are going to be at play.
I said earlier, too, I said, we need something unifying. Right now to happen. I think this has the potential to be a very unifying experience. I just, love the atmosphere. I'd love to get to a couple of games, I thought, still crossing my fingers, maybe the Dutch will play here, which would be nice. But
Egypt is playing here, and I'm from Egypt, so I'm pretty stoked about that.
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting time. There will be the city will be very different, I think, during that period of time. So get ready for it.
I mean, there's a lot of construction. So
wear comfortable shoes because you're obviously with a SkyTrain situation. It sounds like you're going to be getting off at a different stop than usual. Okay, so a major trial is taking place with a focus on concert ticket prices.
The debacle that was trying to get tickets for the Eras Tour is at the heart of this case because Ticketmaster and Live Nation can't get away from how horrible that experience was for so many people.
Well, Taylor Swift's Eras Tour ticket chaos is aiming to bring about change. We'll have more on that still to come. But first, we are getting a closer look at the damage on the ground in Tehran as the crisis in the Middle East intensifies. We'll have the latest. And did you hear the big boom last night? What experts are saying may have caused the loud noise and the bright flash of light. We're back in a moment with your top stories. Stick around. Good morning. Thanks for joining us. It's a question on the minds of many in BC this morning after a loud boom and a bright flash could be seen and heard in the skies above the south coast. What was that? Well, this is the flash everyone's talking about. It's pretty bright. It followed a loud boom that could be heard all over Metro Vancouver and even into Washington State. CTV's Yasmin Gandam's in Abbotsford, where the boom was reportedly heard the loudest. Good morning, Yasmin. So what have you found out this morning about what this was?
Good morning, Carrie. Well, you could hear it just after 9 p.m. last night. And as you mentioned, it was heard across all areas of Metro Vancouver, especially here in Abbotsford. And according to a seismologist from Natural Resources Canada, this was not a quake, but it was actually a meteor exploding in the atmosphere. So what we heard with that boom was the sound of the explosion, and that is called a bolide. Take a listen. He notes light travels faster than sound. About 2 minutes after the flash, many heard a boom sound. Shaking was also recorded at several places. He added if it was a bolide, it was likely far above the earth, some 15 to 20 kilometers, and not a major danger to us. Adding it's rare for any pieces to hit the surface. He says it's a reminder of the active earth we live in. And we have reached out to several emergency services. We heard from Port Moody Police that they did receive several reports from people saying that they heard a loud sound, that their house shook, but some comparing it to a transformer explosion. They weren't sure what it was, but we haven't heard of any outages or any impacts on the ground as a result of this. It was just something to see and something to hear. Carrie?
Quite a sight and sound. Yasmin Gandam joining us this morning. Thank you. Well, turning now to the conflict in the Middle East. Iran is vowing complete destruction as the war is well into its 5th day now. But U.S. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth predicts the U.S. will have complete control of Iranian airspace in under a week.
It means we will fly all day, all night, day and night, finding, fixing, and finishing the missiles and defense industrial base of the Iranian military, finding and fixing their leaders and their military leaders, flying over Tehran, flying over Iran, flying over their capital.
Meanwhile, Israel is ordering people living in southern Lebanon to move north as the conflict spreads in that region. Israel is battling the Iranian-backed Lebanese group Hezbollah, which launched drones and rockets at Israel on Monday, prompting retaliation from Israel. Meanwhile, U.S. and Israeli airstrikes are intensifying in Iran. This video shows damage from 5 days of U.S.-Israeli attacks on Tehran. The Israeli military says Iranian security headquarters were struck in overnight attacks. Iranian state media says a 3-day funeral for Iran's former supreme leader, who was killed in an Israeli airstrike on Saturday, has been postponed. A U.S.-based human rights activist news agency says, at last count, just under 1,100 citizens have been killed in Iran since the attacks began on Saturday. Well, speaking in Australia this morning, Prime Minister Mark Carney was asked if the strike in Iran broke international law.
It would appear prima facie not to be consistent or to be inconsistent with international law. It's a judgment for others to make. I'm not a lawyer, let alone an international legal expert.
Welcome. Carney also called the conflict an example of the failure in the international order. He says despite decades of sanctions and diplomacy, Iran's nuclear threat remains. The Prime Minister has faced criticism for initially backing strikes on Iran. Meanwhile, the Canadian Centre for Cybersecurity is warning of likely cyber attacks as an act of retaliation by Iran. The organization says pro-Iran hacktivists will likely view Canada as a target due to Canada's public support of the U.S. Israel military activity. There are no confirmed attacks yet. Canada's top diplomat kicked off a defense conference in Ottawa today. The gathering is focused on how NATO allies will carry out their pledge to spend the equivalent of 5% of GDP on defense within the next decade.
At its core, our approach in foreign policy is grounded in a simple idea that we must accept the world as it is, not as we wish it to be. And we must act with principled pragmatism to defend Canada's interests while remaining true to our values. And all over the world.
Anand pointed to what she called Canada's principled pragmatism for its policies on Ukraine, the Arctic, and the Middle East. The conference continues until tomorrow and will include panels featuring the commanders of the Canadian Army, Navy, and Air Force. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre is making his first international trip as opposition leader. In the UK, he proposed a new partnership that would strengthen existing ties.
When the treaties and agreements that allow us to trade freely face upheaval, we need to double down and deepen our ties with our oldest and most trusted friends.
Poilievre said he'd like to secure a modern partnership pact between Canada, the UK, Australia and New Zealand. His call for a partnership is meant to boost trade, increase labour mobility and strengthen security ties. Poilievre will leave London for Berlin today. In Toronto, police are investigating a possible hate crime after a synagogue was struck by gunfire.
We heard a series of gunshots. We have only been a valued part of this community, is how we felt. And this, on a certain level, shattered that.
Multiple bullet holes were seen in the front windows after gunshots were heard just before 11 p.m. Sunday. The congregation had gathered earlier in the evening to celebrate the Jewish holiday of Purim, and some members were still inside the synagogue when shots were fired. Thankfully, no one was injured. A truck driver in Ottawa was lucky to escape unharmed after a load of wood went right through the trailer and into the back of his truck cab. You can see the big rig stopped in the middle of the highway as crews work in a space between the trailer and the back of the cab. Police say it was caused by the driver coming to a sudden stop because of construction. The ordeal caused a massive highway backlog for hours as this all was cleared. The driver was given a $390 fine for having an insecure load. An elderly rhino is no longer able to roll in muck, so now she gets her spa-like mud treatments delivered by hand. This is Make. She lives at Australia's Werribee Open Range Zoo. She is a great-great-grandmother in her 40s, and she's no longer physically able to roll in the mud herself and get all of those hard-to-reach places. And so that's important for animals who live in the sun. But Make is special. She has someone who is going to do the dirty work for her. Oh, it must feel so good. Nothing like a little roll in the mud. Nice.
Yeah, when you're growing up, can't do that too much, right? Not only do you, maybe you physically can't, but it just kind of looks bad, right?
Right. But,
yeah.
you know, it's nice that they have that, giving her a little spa treatment. I like that.
Yeah, exactly. I think they should make rhino spas, don't you think?
Just for rhinos?
Just for rhinos, yeah.
There's one right there.
Why
She's
not?
in it.
There you go. Whatever, why not? All right. Let's get a look at your weather. CTV weather brought to you by Chambers Plan, Canada's #1 plan for employee benefits. It's more than just health and dental. Learn more at chamberplan.ca. Starting off mostly cloudy this morning. We've seen a little bit of rain earlier. Might see some more later. Wind is northeast at 11 kilometers an hour. I've been saying south, pardon me. And then it's cloudy at the moment. It will warm up a little bit up to about 12 later today as we check the almanac. Average for this time of year is 9. And last year we reached 10 on this date. In 1937, that's when we set our record. It's 17 and sunset tonight, right at 6 o'clock. So yeah, the days are getting a little bit longer. We'll see a little sun later this afternoon, but more rain possible this morning. And then a drier mix of sun and cloud for tomorrow. But then the rain does come back on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday with temperatures still above normal, anywhere from 9 to 11, 12 degrees. Carrie.
Oh, thanks, Mark. Sorry, I was doing something else. You caught me. All right, thanks. For years, music fans have complained that concert ticket prices are too high. Now a trial aimed at bringing down those prices is underway. Here's ABC's Sophie Flay.
This morning, the trial that could lead to the breakup of Live Nation is underway in New York. A jury set to decide whether the entertainment giant, which combined with Ticketmaster in 2016, is driving up prices in the music industry. It's me. In opening statements, a Justice Department lawyer pointed to the pre-sale event for Taylor Swift's Eras Tour in 2022, when Ticketmaster's site was overwhelmed and crashed, saying, "This case is about power, the power of a monopolist to control competition. Today, the concert ticket industry is broken."
The debacle that was trying to get tickets for the Eras Tour is at the heart of this case, because Ticketmaster and Live Nation can't get away from how horrible that experience was for so many people.
The government claims Live Nation uses strong-arm tactics to control the industry, such as demanding artists use its promotion services in order to perform at its venues, and pressuring major venues into signing deals. Live Nation's attorney disputes those claims, saying the government is cherry-picking examples, saying the marketplace is more competitive than ever and blaming not the company, but online bots for the Taylor Swift ticket sale debacle. An executive who oversees Taylor Swift's tours is among those set to testify at the trial.
Leading into the trial, Live Nation actually won a major argument, having the judge agree to dismiss some of the claims that the company had monopolized concert promotions and bookings. But the company still has to defend itself against claims that it pressures venues to sign exclusive ticketing deals and makes artists use its concert promotion services.
The trial is expected to last 6 weeks. Sophie Flay, ABC News, New York.
Well, the Vancouver International Mountain Film Festival is underway, offering people a glimpse of adventure.
Oh my God. What are we getting ourselves into here?
Still to come, we'll sit down with 2 Canadian explorers to get a demonstration of how they prepare for expeditions in the great outdoors. That's a bit later. But first, have you ever thought about deferring your property taxes? Recent provincial changes could shift their impact. Coming up, the pros and cons of postponing your property taxes. Stick around. There has been a lot of reaction to BC's 2026 budget, but one tweak you might have missed is a change to BC's property tax deferment program and how you may not be able to take advantage of it like years before. To explain, let's welcome in Trevor Parkhouse from Everything Financial. Good morning, Trevor. Good to see you.
Thanks for having me, Carrie.
And just first of all, for people who aren't familiar with this idea of deferring property tax, like under what circumstances would someone consider doing this?
So the most common one is usually people that are 55 years or older, have quite a bit of equity in their properties, but they're not necessarily ready to sell them, and their pension sources, their investment income while they're retired, maybe makes it a little difficult to supplement that expensive one-time-a-year payment. So this opportunity gives the advantage to not make that payment every year until the future.
All right. So let's talk now about the changes that we've seen in the BC budget this year. What has changed from what was allowed before to now?
So under the old rules, when you deferred your property taxes, the government charged you interest of prime minus 2%. With simple interest. Now under the new rules, it's prime plus 2% with compounded monthly, which is quite an increase.
And how would this impact people on a regular basis? It means they're just going to be paying interest on something that they wouldn't have otherwise before.
Exactly, right? So for people who have already been deferring their property taxes, that previous deferred interest doesn't change. So they still have the same amount of money there. But moving forward, when you want to make that decision to defer your property taxes, now it's a much larger expense that they're charging you, meaning it's not quite as affordable as it was previously.
Why is the government doing this? Like, why make this change? Were people just getting too good of a deal and the government thought they could maybe...
Yeah, essentially that's what it is.
Pad their coffers?
You know, the government's kind of argument is that they were lending out money to pay these property taxes for individuals at a lower rate than it was costing them to borrow the money. So under the new rules, it aligns it more with the commercial lending rates.
So what if you have already deferred your property taxes? Are you suddenly on the hook for more money?
You're not, no. So anything you've previously deferred is still under the same old rules, the same old interest rate. It's only from 2026 moving forward that the new interest will apply to those interest or taxes you defer. And so it really makes the decision of whether or not you want to continue doing it or not.
So let's talk more about that then. With these changes, is it still as appealing for people to defer their property taxes?
I'd say it isn't, no. So I would have been the first one to tell a lot of people to defer their property taxes, even if they maybe had the money to make the payment, because you would have been better off putting your money elsewhere when you're being basically given money at 2.5%, and you can do 5 or 6% elsewhere. Under the new rules now, when you're putting in that money, you're paying 6.5%. So it's not quite as efficient.
Right. So, I mean, where do people go from here if they are looking? What would be some other options for people then other than deferring their property taxes? Is that something that they were considering?
Yeah, I mean, some people can use their home equity lines of credit, or they can simply use their investments to make the payments if they can afford it. The problem with using the home equity line of credit is you have to make interest payments. This program is now really designed and helps those people for what it's actually meant for, is those who can't maybe make those payments unless they're ready to sell their house.
Yeah, it makes for some tough decisions for people, especially if deferring property taxes was something that they felt they really needed to do to give themselves a little extra, some wiggle room, if you will.
For sure, right? And now it still makes sense for those individuals, and that's really who it's designed for. Those who don't have the money to do it unless they were to downsize or something like that, because this basically is you're borrowing against the equity in your house until you eventually sell it. Right, so now at this rate, it still makes sense for those individuals, but not for the ones who are maybe taking advantage of it before. You know, there's lots of people who are taking advantage of it in multi-million-dollar homes that could easily afford it, but it just made sense not to make the payments.
Aha, so a little bit of a change there. Trevor Parkhouse from Everything Financial, thanks for walking us through that. Really good information this morning.
Thanks for having me.
All right, it is 7:49 right now. Some dogs bite, others do this. Yeah, a dog that judges you. So judgy. Still to come in your Wednesday morning sidebar.
All right, 7:52 and getting everybody ready for school. It's not a bad morning, and it's mostly cloudy. The rain has stopped for now. It is mostly cloudy. There's still a risk of maybe a couple more showers, and also a risk of thunderstorms out in the valley later on this afternoon. But we will start to clear up a little bit this afternoon. More rain on the way tonight, and then clearing for a nice mix of sun and cloud for tomorrow. Does it stay dry? Of course not. Friday rolls around, and Saturday and Sunday. Look for the rain showers to return. Temperatures are going to stay a little bit milder than average, too.
Okay.
Looks good.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, like the next few days look pretty good. Then the weekend.
Then you get
That's
the weekend,
unfortunate,
right?
but
Yeah.
I'm just,
Yeah,
you know,
the story
trying to
of
be
our lives the last couple of weeks.
trying to be present.
Yes.
And it's not April shower season yet, so there's no excuse.
Yeah, it's just,
At least in April, we can say the same.
Close.
it's just
Yeah.
regular weather.
It's
preview.
just March. All right, well, it's time for your sidebar. And we kick things off with a very caring kid.
Oh, you're hurting the dog.
Okay, you want me to rub it? Be nice to it? Okay, be nice to it. Be nice to the dog.
Be nice to the dog.
Here.
2-year-old Kaylani is an extreme empath. She cries every time she sees her mom punching the dough. After some gentle hugs for the pre-baked bread, the tot is upset again when told that it needs some more aggressive kneading. I mean,
Punch him.
you know, things in the kitchen can get a little violent sometimes, but it's for the best.
Right. Yeah.
The child probably thinks it's like the Pillsbury Doughboy, right? So, yeah.
I mean, it is a living thing, really, because of the yeast.
The yeast, it's fermented.
Yeah.
Aww.
Sweet.
You know what? That's sweet. We should nurture those qualities in the children. Very cute. All right. Well, time for the next story here. Now to a Wicked fan showing off his love for the film's stars in a very unique way.
You gotta punch it, Kalani. Punch it. Punch him. You gotta punch him.
Word artist Jace Hallert made this portrait of Alphaba and Glinda by writing their names nearly 12,000 times. He also added character names, song titles, and quotes from the musical to make it extra special.
Yeah, my hand hurts just looking at this. That would be a lot of writing,
That's a lot of work, yeah.
a nice result.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Wow.
That's so detailed.
Look at that.
I need my reading glasses to read this for sure.
So good.
That's very small print.
You're going to have to really get
He's
in
probably
there.
still working on the Jeff Goldblum. Oh, my.
Any chance to get that impression in there.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it, perfecting it.
Finally, what's worse than a dog that bites? This. That's right, it's a dog that judges. No matter where you are or what you're doing, Benny the Golden is there to show his disapproval.
Yeah.
But even when he's not impressed, he's adorable.
I wonder how his side eye is. A good side eye.
Oh, that was a good, yeah.
Dogs are always watching, you know. When you think they're not,
Oh, I
they
know.
are. That's why they make you
Yeah.
better.
Do they?
You're accountable to someone.
I guess so.
Yeah, my buddy Vern used to, or pardon me, Brody, he also had a dog, Vern, used to give me that kind of look like, really? You know?
Yeah, if you're going for
doing this.
another chip bag.
Yeah, really? Yeah.
Or they're like, where's my treat? You know, if you're going to have another bag
Yes.
of chips, why don't we open
Yeah,
up another
come on.
treat bag?
And that's judging, right?
It's true.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
going to judge you unless you give me one too.
Exactly.
And then we'll eat together.
Then you're bartering. And that's all for your sidebar.
All right, thank you. Did you hear the big boom last night? It was a boom, it was a flash that was heard and seen all over the South Coast. And this is some new video that we're getting of the big flash. Wow, significant. What experts are saying might have caused the commotion. That's just ahead. Also, are your child's sleep habits impacting their life? What a new study says about the amount of sleep kids are getting these days and why there's a good chance it is not enough. Plus, another diversion is hitting a maternity unit. It could impact pregnant people in Maple Ridge and Pitt Meadows. How long it's expected to last when we come back. Did you hear or see it? A loud booming noise followed by a bright flash in the sky. What was it? We're finding out.
The community has been left reeling and families have been devastated by what is now one of the deadliest mass shootings in Canadian history.
An inquest is announced into the tragedy in Tumbler Ridge in a bid to stop something similar from ever happening again. And we'll tell you about a crafty new method crooks are using to break into homes. Your Morning Vancouver starts right now. Well, good morning, everyone. It's Wednesday, March 4th. I'm Carrie Adams. Thanks for joining us. Well, you may have heard it, seen it, or even felt it. A flash illuminating the night sky following a big boom. Wow, people all over the South Coast reported seeing it. It's pretty striking when it happened. Even down in Washington State, people reported it. Now everyone's asking, what exactly was that? Our Yasmin Gandam joins us now live from Abbotsford, where people reported the blast the loudest. Good morning, Yasmin. So early indications are that it was an exploding meteor. What can you tell us about that?
Good morning, Carrie. That's right. And as you mentioned, the boom really being heard strongly here in Abbotsford, according to people on social media. But it was felt all across Metro Vancouver. And a seismologist I spoke with Natural Resources Canada says that this was not a quake, but it was a meteor exploding into the atmosphere called a bolide. Take a listen. He notes light travels faster than sound. About 2 minutes after the flash, many heard a boom sound. Shaking was also recorded at several places. He added, if it was a bolide, it was likely far above the earth, some 15 to 20 kilometers, and not a major danger to us, but it is rare for any pieces to hit the surface. And he says it is a reminder of the active earth we live on. Take a listen here.
And then at some point, these large meteorites explode. Very often they explode in the atmosphere, typically 15, 20, 30 kilometers above the surface. And so you have that very bright flash, you have that loud explosion. The sound waves from the explosion were actually recorded by our seismographs across the southern part of the province.
And although it was something to see and definitely something to hear, there are no really dangers here. We did reach out to several emergency services, and they said that there were reports from several people about the sound and as well as their home shaking, but no outages to report, as well as impacts on the ground. Some said it sounded like a transformer explosion, so definitely a little bit out of the ordinary, but nothing dangerous about it. Carrie?
Very strange, but glad there's no danger. Yasmin Gandam joining us this morning. Thank you. Well, BC's chief coroner has announced an inquest into the horrific mass shooting in Tumbler Ridge that left 9 people dead last month.
To examine the circumstances surrounding these 9 deaths, identify any systemic or procedural issues, and make evidence-based recommendations aimed at preventing similar loss of life in the future.
Mental health services in rural communities will be a focus. The shooter, Jessie Van Roostelaar, was transitioning. She shot her mother and half-brother at home, and then 5 children and a teacher's aide at a school before taking her own life. The inquest is expected to examine why firearms were returned to the home, even though the shooter had previously been apprehended under the Mental Health Act. Meanwhile, the first full week of classes is underway in Tumbler Ridge for those students who are ready and wanting to go back. Infrastructure Minister Bowen Ma says there are 11 temporary classrooms and washroom facilities have now been installed. There are also 8 larger double-wide temporary classrooms that have arrived in town or in the process of being set up to provide a more sustainable interim setup as long-term planning continues. Ma says there will be 24/7 security in place. Well, pregnant patients in Maple Ridge and Pitt Meadows will once again have to travel a little further to get care. A diversion is hitting the maternity unit at Ridge Meadows Hospital starting tomorrow at 8 a.m. and running until Monday morning. Fraser Health says it's due to staffing struggles. This is the 5th time the hospital has put the maternity unit on diversion this year. Peace Arch Hospital has also had similar issues. Meanwhile, BC's largest hospital is being forced to divert patients due to a lack of staffing. VGH, Vancouver General, is now diverting all pregnant patients over 20 weeks who are suffering from trauma, such as car accidents. Health Minister Josie Osborne says there is a safe plan in place for those who might be impacted. According to Osborne, fewer than 1 pregnant patient per month might need VGH services, a comment which drew criticism.
These are life and death situations, and this is not something that anyone in your family should have to deal with. This ends up being another reminder of the specialist access crisis, that the availability of services when British Columbians need them is in decline.
The timeline for when the physician shortage will be solved at VGH is unclear. Well, turning now to the conflict in the Middle East. As chaos unfolds in the region, Global Affairs Canada is warning against travel to several countries, saying more than 100,000 Canadians and permanent residents are registered in the area. CTV's Scott Hurst joins us now with more on this. Good morning, Scott. So what can you tell us about Canada's response and Mark Carney's comments in Australia about the strikes on Iran?
Good morning, Carrie. As top U.S. officials are warning of a bigger wave of strikes in the days ahead, Prime Minister Mark Carney now is several days into his foreign trip, speaking about the situation in Iran for the first time, as you mentioned, from Australia. The Prime Minister reaffirmed Canada's original support of the initial strike by the United States and the effort to prevent Iran from obtaining a nuclear weapon, but said that comes with regret as the current conflict is a failure of international order, as he put it, saying initial support is not a blank check. Carney is calling for a rapid de-escalation and says Canada stands ready to support that goal, saying diplomatic engagement is essential to avoid a wider and deeper conflict. Here's more from the Prime Minister speaking from Australia.
It's for the United States and Israel to make the case, and for whether or not that is the case. And it's for others, more expert than me, non-lawyer, certainly non-international lawyer, who are more expert to make that determination. And that said, well, Canada was not asked to participate. You know that. We were not informed in advance. We were not asked to participate. Prima facie, it appears that these actions are inconsistent with international law.
So, Scott, what do we know about the next steps for Ottawa to coordinate evacuations?
Carrie, we know the number of Canadians reaching out for information to the Canadian government and registering with the Canadian government in the Middle East is growing. The numbers have gone up by well over 15,000 in just the past couple days since this latest escalation of the conflict erupted on Saturday. Now more than 103,000 Canadians have registered in the Middle East with the Registration of Canadian Abroad program, the ROCA program, including about 3,000 Canadians registered in Iran and about more than 6,000 in Israel. Right now, Global Affairs is not currently offering assisted departures, however, urging Canadians to leave the region on their own means, but says it is working on a range of options, including asking Oman for permission to access its airspace if necessary for Canadians to get out. However, the Foreign Affairs Minister, Anita Anand, saying there's no current plan for Ottawa, Carrie, to coordinate evacuations, either by working with commercial partners, by using their planes, or using military aircraft.
We will keep an eye on that story. Scott Hurst joining us live this morning from Toronto. Thanks, Scott.
Thanks, Carrie.
Well, questions are growing over who knew what and when involving landmark federal agreements recognizing Musqueam title. The Premier says he wasn't briefed despite Ottawa insisting the province was kept informed. In late February, Ottawa signed 3 agreements recognizing the Musqueam Indian Band's Aboriginal title over its traditional territory. During question period in the BC legislature yesterday, the opposition pressed Premier David Eby about when he was informed.
When did the Premier become informed of the Musqueam deal that was signed by the federal government?
To be absolutely clear, received no briefings about the content of this agreement. No heads up from the federal government.
Ottawa says the province was briefed weeks earlier. However, the agreements have raised concerns over private property ownership, which both Ottawa and Musqueam say is false. Musqueam's chief negotiator says it does not affect private land, adding they have been transparent throughout the process. Vancouver police are warning people to keep an eye out for a crafty new break-and-enter method involving hot glue. They say thieves used the glue to help them break into 10 apartments in 6 different buildings between August and December of last year. So how it works is they put hot glue on the top of apartment doors, stretching it between the door and the frame. If the glue is intact still when they return a few days later, they know the residents are not home, that they're away, so they can break in. A beached sailboat in Florida has become a bit of a spectacle.
I think it's amazing to see that, and it reminds me of growing up and watching Gilligan's Island.
Oh my gosh, it is the Gilligan's Island boat. This 14-meter boat has been beached since the end of January. It had lost power out in the water, stranding the family on board. They've abandoned it, surrendering ownership to the state, who now has to clean it up. That bill is around $42,000. Right now, the city of Flagler Beach is on the hook, but they can either apply for state grants or take the original owners to court. Interesting. They could try selling tickets to get photos next to the Gilligan's Island boat or something like that.
Sure, why not?
And that might help cover some of the cost. I mean, it's a shame that they're on the hook for that, but it looks exactly like they were on a 3-hour tour.
Yeah, and I mean, shame that it happened to them, but yeah, it's their boat. Obviously, they just can't sort of leave it there. They got to explore their options, right? You know?
They should get the professor involved. He could probably whip something up with some coconuts.
Phil's been going, Skipper, we left the boat. You know, nah, never mind. Let somebody else pick it up, Gilligan. All right, let's get a look at your weather. CTV weather brought to you by Chambers Plan, Canada's #1 plan for employee benefits. It's more than just health and dental. Learn more at chamberplan.ca. Conditions right now at YVR, it's mostly cloudy still. About 8 degrees. Wind is out of the northeast, 11 kilometers an hour. And yeah, we're seeing some breaks in that cloud cover, but not a break from the range anyway, so there still could be a couple of showers. Also a risk of thunderstorms popping up too out toward the valley. Other than that, it may dry up a little bit tonight, but then, yeah, we get another round of rain moving through early this evening. And then tomorrow, it'll start to clear away a little bit for a nice mix of sun and cloud once we get into the afternoon. But a couple more showers possible through the morning. And like I said, into the afternoon, a risk of a thunderstorm out in the valley. Mainly cloudy through most of the afternoon elsewhere, and then in the evening, we'll get another round of rain coming our way, and then a little bit drier day, a little sunnier day for tomorrow. If you have details with that, with a 5-day forecast, got that coming up in 10 minutes. Carrie.
Okay, thanks, Mark. Well, as we get ready to spring ahead for the final time, who will feel it the most?
It's really tough in the winter, and people will not like it after they see what happens in the first winter.
Why some say the safety of children could be impacted by the permanent move to daylight saving time. We'll have that just ahead.
Oh my God. What are we getting ourselves into here?
Wow, the Vancouver International Mountain Film Festival is underway, offering people a glimpse of adventure. Up next, we'll find out how 2 Canadian explorers prepare for expeditions in the great outdoors. We're back in a moment.
All right, time now for this morning's Skywatch. Here's a live shot from Grouse Mountain overlooking the strait, downtown Vancouver. A little bit of cloud around. There could be a couple more showers, and then maybe seeing some sunny breaks later this afternoon.
CTV Skywatch is brought to you by Kermac Collision and Autoglass, the name you'll remember when it matters. Kermac cares for kids.
Oh my God. What are we getting ourselves into here?
The Vancouver International Mountain Film Festival is underway, showcasing unique productions, many of them that celebrate the great outdoors. But along with films, the festival also includes workshops for those hoping to embrace adventure. Joining us to share more, Canadian explorers Kevin Vallely and Ray Zahab. Good morning to you both. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Okay, you are both way more adventurous than me, so I can't wait to learn a little bit more about this. Kevin, we'll start with you. Tell us a little bit what inspired you to get out and explore, to see the world.
I've been doing this for 25 years, and the first time was going to Alaska, doing a big traverse, and came back, and it was a reset button for me. And I thought that I was kind of hooked after that. You go away, you realize what's important in life, and you come back, and it's clear, it's simple. Reset done, and then you want to do it again.
Amazing. And you've been on 25 expeditions. Ray, you've been on 40, which is absolutely incredible.
It's a bit of an obsession, right?
Yeah, but you know, it's interesting because in 2023, I learned that you faced a setback following your cancer diagnosis. Tell us a little bit about that and how exploration sort of has helped you through that.
Yeah, it's interesting. So I started my adventure career a little bit differently. I was a pack-a-day smoker, a pretty unhealthy guy till I was 30.
Wow.
And then I started doing this stuff in the outdoors and became very healthy and, you know, just took on life in a completely different way, loving it, lots of energy. And then one day, several years later, a few years ago, I wasn't feeling myself anymore. And my wife, after constant poking to get to the doctor, I went to the doctor and found out I had a rare form of blood cancer.
Wow.
So it was a major setback, and it was ironically right after our first attempt, Kevin and I, of skiing across Ellesmere Island, and our plans of going back were put on hold because of 6 months of chemotherapy and monoclonal therapy.
How are you doing now?
Oh, like
you look great.
Like a rock star. I feel like $1 million.
Yeah, amazing. So let's talk more about some of these workshops. You're going to be this Sunday talking about how real expeditions are planned. So Kevin, maybe tell us a little bit of some of the things you brought in here, and what kind of workshops are people going to experience this?
Yeah, well, you're going to get a taste of real adventure and what when it goes right and when it goes wrong. We're also speaking tonight actually about our adventure, and basically here you can see this is a part of a polar bear fence.
This is something I had no idea.
Yeah, mostly these you can't buy on Amazon, right? You have to make one of these things.
Okay.
And it's this trigger mechanism that you put a shotgun shell, and you have 4 of these around your camp, and between that you have a fishing line, which a bear can't see. And the idea being, and you set this up, I might add, in minus 45 Celsius, but the thing is that when you're in a tent, you can't see a bear coming, and polar bears coming to eat you. So it'll trip the line, letting you know that it's out there. And then you, in turn, of course, have a weapon inside that you can get ready and go out there and defend yourself if you have to.
Wow.
But the hope is that it's actually going to scare the bear away.
Yes, that's the hope, is to make that sound so you
Big
don't
bang.
have, so there isn't any kind of confrontation. But that's something you have to think about when you're out there in the wild, in the middle of nowhere. Ray, what are some of the other things that go into planning an expedition like that? You got to have all sorts of equipment with you.
Yeah, you know what? We've said this before, that experience is strategy. And honestly, it's doing these things together over the years. We come up with different ideas, but it's truly the environment. It's the elements. You're talking about minus 40, minus 50 ambient air temperature. It could be minus 80 degrees Celsius with the winds. So it's preparing for the cold, the extreme cold, with proper clothing, the food, the supplies you need to survive in an environment where you're out there on your own. I mean, no one's coming to get you. You got to be ready to be a month on the ice.
What's the next journey for you? Where are you going next? What are you planning?
Well, I just literally got back last week. I crossed the Atacama Desert in Chile, self-contained. So I carried all my gear and supplies with me from the ocean to the high altiplano in Chile. So across the desert. So
you'd have to
taking
plan.
a break.
You'd have to plan for like 5 seasons. I don't know how you would carry everything with you. How many pairs of shoes do you take with
the ones that were on my feet. That was it.
Kevin, what about you? What's next for you?
A kayak expedition this summer in the high Arctic. So 700-kilometer paddle, looking into the Franklin expedition, actually, around King William Island.
Wow. That's fantastic. Are you guys going to be a part of a film? I feel like you guys need to film your own documentary or something.
We do. Well, we have one coming.
Okay. Stay tuned.
Yes, indeed.
That we're here presenting about.
Oh,
really
wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, good luck to you both. And
Thank
stay
you.
safe out there with your adventures.
You bet.
Kevin Vallely and Ray Zahab joining us with their experience at the Vancouver International Film Festival. Mountain Film Festival is on now until March 11th across the Lower Mainland and Sea to Sky. All right, 8:21 here on Your Morning Vancouver. The countdown to kick off FIFA is officially underway.
I'm excited to see the world fans come here, and hopefully some of the world's problems are figured out by then.
We're getting a clearer picture how Metro Vancouver plans to handle celebrations and the influx of people coming for the World Cup. We'll have that still to come. And are your child's sleep habits impacting their life? What a new study says about the amount of sleep teens are getting these days and why there's a good chance it's not enough. We're back in a moment.
Dreaming of an unforgettable adventure? Indulge in the magic of Hong Kong. Enter for a chance to win a trip for two, courtesy of the Hong Kong Tourism Board. The prize includes round-trip flights on Cathay Pacific, 4 luxurious nights at the Park Lane, Hong Kong, $1,000 spending money, and a 3-day pass, granting access to over 20 amazing attractions. Explore vibrant markets and serene temples, indulge in world-class cuisine, and take in breathtaking views. Enter online at ctvvancouver.ca or scan the QR code on your screen. It's 8:25 on this Wednesday, which is mostly cloudy right now. 8 degrees. Wind is northeast at 11 kilometers an hour. Still could see a couple of showers through the morning. And then we get into the afternoon. There's a risk of a thunderstorm popping up early in the afternoon out toward the valley. Other than that, it will settle down a little bit. Some breaks in that cloud cover. Another round of rain, though, coming through this evening. That will be gone overnight. And then tomorrow will gradually dry out for a nice mix of sun and cloud. But it won't stay dry for long, of course. Port Hardy will be periods of rain today at 8. Looking for showers possibly through the inner coast of the island. 10 from Campbell River down to Nanaimo, which will hit 12. Port Alberni will be 11. 10 out of Tofino with a chance of showers. Chance of showers, too, for Victoria with highs of 12. Showers possible across the Sunshine Coast. Also up the Sea to Sky region and a mix of showers and flurries in Whistler. And for Metro Vancouver and the Valley, we're looking at rain through the morning. Chance of a risk of a thunderstorm in the afternoon, and then also some sunny breaks later with temperatures staying at around 12 degrees. Our 5-day, a little drier, a little nicer for tomorrow with a mix of sun and cloud, but the rain does return Friday, Saturday, and Sunday as well. The temperatures still staying a little bit milder than average. Carrie.
Righty. Okay, thanks, Mark. Okay. So if you're the parent of a teenager, there's a good chance your child's not getting enough sleep. New research shows more teens are missing out. And as ABC's Ashan Singh reports, screen time may not be the only reason why.
From school to activities, teenagers are tired, and it's likely because they're not getting enough sleep. A new study of more than 120,000 high school students finds nearly 77% are missing the mark on the recommended amount of sleep on school nights, up significantly from 69% when the study began in 2007. But the most dramatic shift is in the kids getting the least amount of sleep. Nearly 1 in 4 teens now report sleeping 5 hours or less per night.
And there is biology there that says it's harder when kids enter those teen years to get to bed on time.
The trend was seen across grades, sexes, and ethnic groups, though increases were larger among non-Hispanic Black teens. Researchers found teens who report depression symptoms, bullying, or suicidal thoughts were more likely to sleep less. But sleep loss also rose among teens without those factors. Researchers say the trend likely reflects broader pressures in teens' daily lives, not just screen use. Though a separate review of more than 4,500 children and young adults found that more overall screen time was linked to later bedtimes, but not necessarily worse sleep quality or shorter duration. However, using screens once already in bed was associated with worse sleep that night.
Parents can make sure screens are out of rooms, try to get the kids to turn the screens off before bedtime, make sure they're exercising, getting into sunlight during the day, and try to keep a consistent bedtime week and weekend.
And the Journal of the American Medical Association points to school start times as a major factor for insufficient sleep, saying that studies suggest a school start time of 8:30 a.m. or later for longer sleep times for teenagers. Ashan Singh, ABC News, New York.
So it's the first time I've heard that suggestion that maybe when it comes to like high school students, that maybe they just start later because then they do get a little extra sleep.
That idea has been out there for a while. Yeah.
Lazy. I call it lazy. My high school used to start at 7 a.m. because I went to school in the desert in Kuwait.
When it was cooler in the morning, I had to get there early.
So our school ended at like 2. But
wow, how did you do it?
Well, it was tough. The bus was waiting a lot of days.
There you go.
I know. But the main thing is that teens just aren't getting enough sleep, and I guess we can blame phone use.
Yeah. I used to nap a lot. Like a lot.
Yeah.
I still do.
Still do, yeah.
During the breaks, you should see her.
They're serious.
Just kidding. All right, here's a look from Grouse Mountain this morning. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Yeah, it's a bit of a wet and dreary day out there. going to clear up a little bit later, though, according to Mark. Here now is a look at your top stories. Well, it's a question on the minds of many in BC this morning after a loud boom and a bright flash could be seen and heard in the skies above the south coast. What was that? Well, here we go. This is the flash everyone's talking about, followed by a loud boom that could be heard all over Metro Vancouver and even into Washington State. Here it is. It's quite significant when you see it. Yasmin Gandam is on this story. She's live in Abbotsford, where the boom was reportedly heard the loudest. So, Yasmin, what have you found out this morning about what this actually was?
Good morning, Carrie. Well, that's really the question on everyone's minds this morning. It was heard just after 9 p.m. last night. And according to this seismologist from Natural Resources Canada, this was not a quake, but it was actually the result of a meteor crashing into or exploding in the atmosphere, also called a bolide. Take a listen. He notes light travels faster than sound. About 2 minutes after the flash, many heard a boom sound. Shaking was also recorded at several places. He added, a bolide likely far above the earth, some 15 to 20 kilometers, is not a major danger to us. It is rare for any pieces to hit the surface, a reminder of the active earth we live in. Take a listen.
These bolides almost always burn up entirely, so the chance of any fragments reaching the earth are really low, not impossible, and it's something that people will be looking at in the next few days to see the trajectory of this item and if anything may have made it down to earth, but it's really rare to see any fragments.
So because of that, it is very unlikely that a bolide would be dangerous. And what he also told me is what people were feeling with, their home shaking or windows was the result of wind likely from that meteor traveling. So again, not a danger. We did reach out to several emergency services. They did, receive reports about this sound, about their home shaking, but no outages to report, no impacts on the ground. Just something to see and hear. Carrie?
Yeah, something out of this world. Yasmin Gandam joining us this morning. Thank you. Well, turning now to the conflict in the Middle East, Iran is vowing complete destruction as the war is now well into its 5th day. But U.S. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth predicts the U.S. will have complete control of Iranian airspace in under a week.
It means we will fly all day, all night, day and night, finding, fixing, and finishing the missiles and defense industrial base of the Iranian military, finding and fixing their leaders and their military leaders, flying over Tehran, flying over Iran, flying over their capital.
Meantime, Israel is ordering people living in southern Lebanon to move north as the conflict spreads in that region. Israel is battling the Iranian-backed Lebanese group Hezbollah, which launched drones and rockets at Israel on Monday, prompting retaliation from Israel. Meantime, U.S. and Israeli airstrikes are intensifying in Iran. This video shows damage from 5 days of U.S.-Israeli attacks on Tehran. The Israeli military says Iranian security headquarters were struck in overnight attacks. Iranian state media says a 3-day funeral for Iran's former supreme leader, who was killed in an Israeli airstrike Saturday, has been postponed. A U.S.-based human rights activist news agency says, at last count, just under 1,100 citizens have been killed in Iran since the attacks began on Saturday. Canada's top diplomat kicked off a defense conference in Ottawa today. The gathering is focused on how NATO allies will carry out their pledge to spend the equivalent of 5% of GDP on defense within the next decade.
At its core, our approach in foreign policy is grounded in a simple idea that we must accept the world as it is, not as we wish it to be. And we must act with principled pragmatism to defend Canada's interests while remaining true to our values. and all over the world, but also...
Anita Anand pointed to what she called Canada's principled pragmatism for its policies on Ukraine, the Arctic, and the Middle East. The conference continues until tomorrow and will include panels featuring the commanders of the Canadian Army, Navy, and Air Force. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre is making his first international trip as opposition leader. In the UK, he proposed a new partnership that would strengthen existing ties.
When the treaties and agreements that allow us to trade freely face upheaval, we need to double down and deepen our ties with our oldest and most trusted friends.
Poilievre said he'd like to secure a modern partnership pact between Canada, the UK, Australia, and New Zealand. His call for a partnership is meant to boost trade, increase labor mobility, and strengthen security ties. Poilievre will leave London for Berlin today. Well, it's a story for the birds and the humans who love them.
You know, we've got owls, we've got songbirds, we've got raptors. It's an absolutely marvelous space.
Still to come, why this piece of land on Vancouver Island is now off limits for development. That story still to come. But first, more fallout from the province's announcement about the shift to daylight saving time, why some say the safety of children could be impacted. We're back in a moment.
Well, it turns out spring is one of the best kept secrets on the Sunshine Coast, especially for travelers who love nature, eco-adventure, and intentional travel. Joining us this morning with 4 places worth checking out is travel writer Jamie Savage. Good morning to you, Jamie.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much for being here. Spring break is right around the corner, so we're going to inspire some folks and families. So let's start off with a glamping recommendation on the Sunshine Coast.
And not just any glamping recommendation, one of the best glamping recommendations in all of BC. So this is the Rockwater Secret Cove. Now, they are known for their iconic tent house suites that are perched above the shoreline, and Rockwater really offers a wide range of unforgettable stays. So blending luxury with raw coastal beauty, their tent house suites feature private decks, deep soaker tubs, and they're surrounded by forest. So this is really not just a stay, but this is a whole different glamping experience.
I love it.
Something that I love that I think you and I would enjoy is that you can go kayaking and, you know, do the hang out at their outdoor pool, but they have a oceanfront spa tent.
Ooh.
Right?
Enough said.
Enough said. Let's go.
Booked. Yeah. That sounds incredible. Now, next up, you have a place described as an oceanside wilderness retreat.
So this is Arbutus Cove Retreat, and this is up in Powell River. And so what's really neat about this place is it's where adventure meets stillness. So what they want you to do is head on out and adventure all day, so hiking, biking, kayaking, and then they want you to come back and retreat and slow down a little bit. So that could be in their oceanfront hot tub or in one of their saunas, or they're curated coastal suites. So you're gonna be looking out over the ocean and, you know, going from that adventure, which is amazing in my style, to a little bit slower and stillness and taking in the environment around you.
All right, next up, you have a place that is really close to your heart. Talk to us about that.
Yes, thank you for asking. So this is the Beach Gardens Resort, and I've actually spent months living at this property, and it is so special because right there, it's going to be perched on the edge looking out over the sea, and I love spending my time looking out over their marina. So they've got a full service marina. You see the boats coming in and out, and you can even jump on one of them and head on out to the sea where you're going to see orcas and humpback whales and dolphins and bald eagles. Also, while you're there, you're going to want to check out their Seasider restaurant. That's, you know, arguably one of the best patios on the Sunshine Coast.
Ooh, yeah, that sounds pretty incredible. Now, if you're going from Sunshine Coast to Powell River and then back in through town to West Vancouver, what can you do on your way out of Gibsons?
Yeah, either in or out. So this is the Nicholas Sontag Tide Pools Aquarium at the Gibsons Public Market. So it's a great place where the kids can go and get, and let's be honest, kids of all ages, because I love these things too. But you're going to be able to go and see over 70 unique local marine fisheries and invertebrates like sea stars, crabs, urchins, and more. And it really does offer that hands-on experience where you can learn about things by seeing them, but you're also going to be able to have an interpreter there that's going to help you understand what you're looking at.
Well, Jamie, lots of great things to see and explore this spring over on the Sunshine Coast, Powell River. Thank you so much for your time with us this morning. And if folks want to find out more, you can head online to the website you see on your screen.
Great. Thank you both. Well, now that BC has decided to stop changing the clocks twice a year, there are a lot of questions about how kids will handle getting to school in the dark. When we spring forward one last time on Sunday, there will be more light at night, but in the winter, mornings won't be as bright. So far, school boards across the region are remaining optimistic, but we'll be keeping a close eye on how things develop, especially in December.
The good news is that our schools are closed for the last half of the month for the winter break anyway. So that part, we eliminate 2 weeks right then and there.
Well, scientists and doctors have long argued that more light in the morning is better for our health. However, the government believes the public so far anyway prefers the longer summer nights. So yeah, the two camps here. I mean, I guess you're not going to please everyone because the bottom line is that we're making this change. So we're not going back and forth between the two time changes.
No, exactly.
Sticking with one.
And it's going to require an adjustment, everybody, as it always has been, right?
Right. I feel like, we're springing forward this weekend, but it's not until we are supposed to fall back in the fall and don't, that's where we're going to really see, do we like this or not?
Yeah. And then I'm sure a lot of people think, is this a good idea? I'm not too sure about that. Let's, another referendum coming. All right, let's take a look at your weather. CTV weather brought to you by Chambers Plan, Canada's #1 plan for employee benefits. More than just health and dental. Learn more at chamberplan.ca. It has been cloudy for most of the morning, and it continues to be mostly cloudy. We had some light rain earlier, and we still could get a couple of showers before the morning is out. Temperature's been hanging around 8 degrees. It will warm up a little bit. There could be a risk of a thunderstorm, too, out in the valley later by early this afternoon. And then it'll dry out a little bit. There'll be some breaks in that cloud cover, but another round of rain coming through this evening, and that may be hanging around the valley by tomorrow morning. But then into the afternoon, we'll clear out somewhat for a nice mix of sun and cloud. It will be a little bit drier. Port Hardy will be 8 with rain today. Showers down through Campbell River, Comox, Nanaimo. Port Alberni seeing some rain, showers out at Defino as well, and a few showers around Victoria today. Sunshine Coast, you'll see a chance of showers, as you will up through Squamish and Whistler, chance of showers and flurries mixed together. And here for the lower mainland, a couple more showers maybe this morning, and then some sunny breaks into the afternoon, temperatures topping out at about 12 degrees. Here's our 5 days, so there's that nicer day tomorrow. Mix of sun and cloud with highs of 8, but the rain does come back, yes, on Friday, just in time for the weekend again. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but those temperatures still stay a couple of degrees milder than average. Let's check in again with Mona.
Split the Pot lottery is back, allowing British Columbians to create life-changing opportunities for the charities in their communities. This morning, we're shining a light on the important work of Special Olympics BC, and we're doing that with the organization's Vice President of Fund Development, Heather McIver, and athlete Amy Nelson. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Hi, Mona. Thank you so much for joining us. This is a special kind of win-win situation that is back for British Columbians, and I'm excited to talk to you both about it. So, Heather, I'll start with you. How do the funds from Split the Pot lottery help support Special Olympics BC? Why did you decide to partner with them on this?
Yeah, thanks, Mona, and thanks so much for having us here today to talk about this. So Special Olympics BC operates in 55 communities across the province, and it's thanks to partners like Split the Pot and our other generous sponsors and donors that we're able to provide the incredible services that we do to individuals with intellectual disabilities. And so that's year-round programs in sport, health, and youth programs. And again, it's thanks to these donors that we're able to have such a wide reach in the province. And Split the Pot has been a wonderful partner for us for the last year.
Absolutely. Well, we know that extracurriculars are expensive for families that participate in them. So I like that Special Olympics BC is really helping folks get further ahead in their sport. So Amy, tell us a little bit about your background as a Special Olympics athlete. How long have you been involved in what sports do you play?
I started Special Olympics when I was 14, so I have been in Special Olympics for 15 years.
Incredible.
I do soccer, swimming, and I started powerlifting this year.
Okay. What has your involvement with Special Olympics BC, how has that furthered your athletic abilities and career?
I think being able to compete, getting myself to World Games.
Yeah.
And just getting the exercise.
Incredible. Heather, I'm sure you've seen firsthand the lives that your folks have touched and changed through the program. Talk to us a little bit about what you've seen in the athletes that have come to you and how they are after their time with Special Olympics.
Yeah, absolutely. So our just to further on Amy's point, our programs are low or no cost, thanks to the incredible community that supports us, including Split the Pot. And we've seen many of our athletes come to us looking for an opportunity to connect with our community, to celebrate the joy of sport, and to be in an inclusive environment with their peers.
That all sounds incredible. A great initiative to support. How can folks buy tickets to Split the Pot and benefit Special Olympics directly?
So splitthepot.ca is the website. It's very easy to go online. You select on the drop down how many tickets you want to buy, and then once you get through to the next step, there's a drop down of all the charities that you can support. There's 28 charities, I believe, on there right now for this month's lottery. Special Olympics BC being one of them. So you choose the one that is the most meaningful to you.
Yes.
And I believe that the draws are on Thursdays.
Yes.
So Wednesday is the deadline for those draws, with a big jackpot coming up at the end of the month.
Incredible. March 25th is the final deadline. Amy, Heather, thank you so much for your time with us this morning.
Thank you so much, Mona.
All right, thank you so much. Well, a Burnaby man turned his childhood dreams into a reality. Still to come, how he overcame prejudice to realize 3 goals. Coming up on the Sawatsky Sign-Off. Welcome back, everyone. So a large parcel of land near Victoria has been converted into a nature sanctuary. It's called Hummingbird Hill. Love that name. It will serve as a research center and home base for a local bird observatory. CTV's Anna McMillan has more on the win for biodiversity.
Just off the busy Rocky Point Road in Metchosin is a large property now protected in perpetuity.
There is all kinds of wildlife here. Deer across the road, the cougars, the wolves. Having habitat that isn't disturbed for them is critical.
The land is right by the Galloping Goose Trail. Once you climb this hill, it's quiet, save for the sounds of nature.
I wish that the cameras could pick up how it smells here, and you can almost taste the goodness and the greenness here. The oxygen content is very high.
The 21-hectare property was recently purchased by the BC Parks Foundation, which fundraised $2.5 million to make it happen. The homestead has been converted to a nature reserve called Hummingbird Hill, in honor of the rufous hummingbirds that migrate here in the spring.
For birds and other wildlife that are sensitive, they need sanctuaries. They need places where they can live, that they're not disturbed by excessive noise, by pesticides, by, habitat fragmentation, all of those kinds of things.
The foundation is leasing the property to the Rocky Point Bird Observatory, which monitors bird populations for research.
The Rocky Point Bird Observatory will finally have a headquarters where we can offer community programming, educational programs, where we can store our materials for our banding stations that are in close proximity.
A 2019 study estimates the bird population in Canada and the U.S. fell by nearly 3 billion birds, or 29% since 1970. Beyond birds, the land will be used for other types of research.
To do a spring bio-blitz, looking at species that are present here and obvious in the spring, and also a fall bio-blitz or myco-blitz, largely focused on species of mushrooms.
There's hope to protect more land from development in the future.
It's not just for the people of Metchosin, it's for the people of BC, and it is for our world.
Preserving paradise for generations to come. Anna McMillan, CTV News, Metchosin.
Wow, looks like a lovely spot, Hummingbird Hill.
Yes.
Well, we're learning more about Vancouver's preps for the 2026 FIFA World Cup, which is now just 99 days away and counting. Countdown starts here.
We're going to do this every day.
Yeah. Well, 7 matches will be played at BC Place beginning June 13th. 350,000 fans are going to be visiting during the tournament. If you don't get a ticket, you'll have a chance to watch matches at the FIFA Fan Festival at the P&E. And the city of Surrey is announcing that they will offer 3 fan zones to watch matches on big screens at the Civic Plaza, the Cloverdale Agriplex, and South Surrey Athletic Park.
I'm excited to see the world's fans come here, and hopefully some of the world's problems are figured out by then and they all can come.
I think it's wonderful to have people from different cultures and to showcase the beauty of our city and all that we have to offer.
It means a lot. It's going to be very exciting in the city, and I'm really looking forward to it for myself and my family.
Sad.
Well, we're learning more about how different things are going to be during the games. TransLink is sharing its plans for the tournament, which includes expanded service to deal with the big crowds. On local match days, people will not be able to access BC Stadium by Stadium Chinatown and Yaletown Roundhouse SkyTrain stations. Instead, they'll need to get off at Main Street Science World. So wear your comfy shoes. You're going to be walking.
That's a shame because, you know, it's in the name, Stadium Station.
Yeah, nope,
Yep.
not now.
Not now. Not for a couple of weeks. Yeah.
Okay, well, finally this morning, Adam finds out the story behind a Burnaby man who turned his childhood dreams into a reality, not achieving just one goal, but several of them in this Encore Sawatsky sign-off.
Sitting in the morning sun.
Ever since DJ Jackson started singing as a kid with his friends,
But we'd be on the corner just humming and, you know, moving and grooving.
he's had three big dreams.
All I wanted to be was a cowboy, a singer, and a fireman.
But he never would be, DJ was told while growing up in the southern states, because of the color of his skin.
Look like nothing's gonna come my way.
But DJ was determined, got a job sweeping floors to pay for a firefighting course, and did so well, the department had to hire him as a trainee.
They treated me bad. They called me all kinds of names and stuff, but I thought, you know, nobody's gonna ever break me.
Eventually, the prejudiced people left, and DJ earned a full-time position, which led to an historic headline in the local paper.
And I fell in love with it, man. I thought, this is it. This is my life.
But that was just one dream realized.
I left my home in Washington.
During a vacation in Vancouver, DJ experienced so many random acts of kindness, he called his mom.
And guess what? Nobody called me today or shot at me. And she said, what? I said, and guess what, Mama? I'm staying.
Eventually, DJ did move to Canada permanently, where he achieved his other dreams of becoming a cowboy for a bit and touring as a singer for even longer.
I'm sitting on the dock of a bay.
But DJ wasn't into wasting time and started pursuing a fourth dream.
Christopher Reeves.
DJ's walls are filled with photos from the almost 180 movie and TV shows he's appeared in, along with many of the major stars he's worked with, from Adam Sandler to John Travolta.
My pride and joy. I spent 3 days with the champ, Muhammad Ali, and he taught me strength.
But if you ask Joshua who inspired him to never give up on his dreams,
Mother, ooh.
He'll point to a picture of his mom.
She said, you just be you and treat everybody the same, and your day will come. Yeah.
Because if you can keep singing through the low notes of life, just imagine how wonderful it will feel when you nail every single high one.
Still got it.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Burnaby.
The Sawatsky Sign-Off, brought to you by
CapitalDirect.ca. Let's make your vision a reality with Capital Direct. Call and talk to our team today.
Well, I love his energy and spirit, and I'm so glad that he was able to accomplish everything and more right here in this country.
Absolutely. Yeah. Cool guy. Yeah. Keep that song in your heart, DJ.
Vancouver's where dreams come true.
Yep.
So you know what tomorrow is?
98 days until the FIFA World Cup. We're counting down.
God, you know all my tricks.
Enjoy your Wednesday, everyone. We'll see you here tomorrow. Bye-bye.